Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the HalfGen podcast. It's season 3, episode 2, and what? I lost the thread. I was
And
trying
what
to
could be
make like the big
crazier?
anime thing, like, oh, what could the next arc? No, it's just like this is dumb. I'm quitting
Next
while
arc
I'm
is
ahead.
video games.
Yeah.
It's more games.
Yeah, we have Platinum Games. They're working on our next game.
Yep, very excited about it.
We don't know which Platinum Games is making it, but
Little column A, little column B. Get something interesting.
Could be like Bayonetta or Nier Automata, or it could be Babylon's Fall, or that Legend of Korra game.
Oh, man, that bums me out.
Man, remember when Platinum was just like guaranteed hit after guaranteed hit?
Kind of.
Yeah, I miss those days. See, it's hard to remember those because lately that's not that. But yeah, we're back. Chris and Ross back at it again. And yeah, we got another busy episode for you. We had been hoping to record this. Mentally, I'm preparing myself because we had been planning to record this earlier in the month, and then we decided to change the cadence we wanted to release these. And part of me is still just thinking about all the work I'm going to have to do for this, and I hate my life. But that's okay because we got a lot to talk about, and I could worry about that later.
Why would now Chris worry about future Chris when now Chris is just going to have fun?
Yeah, future me is going to hate me. He's going to hate the shit out of me. Yeah, but jokes aside, how you doing, Ross?
I'm doing all right, man. Life is busy, but I've found more time for games than in recent memory for a variety of reasons, which we'll dive into, I'm sure.
I feel like your passion has been blazing again. You know, like you are definitely a man. Like your passions can be, like summed up by a fire, and sometimes it goes a little dim, and you're like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go play with a different fire.
It's true. I do
but
love
recently
fires.
this fire, you were just like, let me just throw some gas on there, like, let's go.
Let's
throw like, I don't know, like almost $1,700 worth of gas.
Yeah, it's very high quality gas.
It's premium.
So much ethanol.
93 octane.
Yeah. Yep. Only the best. Only the best for my shrinking bank account.
Yes. Yeah, we'll talk more about that part later. This month, God, I almost said this week. This month, we're going to start with the news because we have February stuff and March stuff to go through, and it's a lot. Let's get started. Ross.
Yes.
Did you know they're making another Pokemon?
What? Huh?
This year.
Nani?
So Legend of Arceus was always, I guess, like a spin-off thing, but it always felt like a weird kind of experiment that they were going to be like, hey, let's see how people like this before, we do anything with the future of Pokemon. Yeah. But that is not the Pokemon way, as it were. And now the Pokemon Company are making Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which sounds like it's taking a lot of inspiration from the game that just came out 2 months ago that unfortunately I haven't played yet, but I do have.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't get around to it.
Yep.
A lot of Switch stuff I didn't get around to yet, and I'm working on that and hopefully more on that next month. But that game is coming out the end of 2022.
The Generation 9, the next full generation.
It's a full gen.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, I haven't played. I always said Arceus, and I think it sounds way better, but apparently it's Arceus. So I haven't played Arceus yet, which I also...
Arceus is what I used to say, and I thought people were correcting it to Arceus, but I don't know.
People were incorrect. Canonically, it is Arceus. That's how it's said in the movie, apparently. So,
because the movie knows.
Because the movie knows.
Yeah.
But I haven't even bought it yet. I was excited for it, and then kind of just fell off my radar. But I'm intrigued by Scarlet and Violet. I was really meh on Sword and Shield. It was kind of just a boring kind of game that didn't do a lot for me in almost every imaginable way. I ended up liking Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond or whatever they were more, because going in, I knew what those games were, even if I didn't like the art style, so I enjoyed them more. Sword and
When did those
Shield,
games come out?
they came out last year, I think.
I know, but it was like late last year, wasn't it?
Shining Pearl, it came out November, yeah.
So in November, they had the remakes.
Right.
In the end of January,
Yep.
they had
The spinoff.
Arceus.
Yeah.
And then probably within the same 12-month period, we're getting another Pokemon?
Yeah. Yeah. So it makes me wonder exactly how the teams are broken up over there and how much overlap there is on development. Because obviously, Pokemon is the largest entertainment brand in the world or whatever. So it makes sense that they're pushing out games. But I just hope Scarlet and Violet are more interesting than Sword and Shield, because Sword and Shield were boring.
Yeah, I got a decent chunk into Shield.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got like 4 or 5 badges. I was just going into the area where, like, the door was locked and you had to sneak around or something into like the little punk base or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, boy, this game's kind of boring.
Yep. Yep. The best
I
part
had
about that game were the DLCs, because one of them was like this random dungeon that you go through, and at the end is just a legendary Pokemon you can catch. So you could just get a ton of legendaries, which is what I did because that was fun. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Got Mewtwo.
ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really enjoyed a Pokemon game since like
Ruby, Sapphire.
Ruby was the last one I finished.
Mm.
And then X I played a good chunk of. I feel like every time a new Pokemon game comes out, I spend time trying to remember the last time I
Yeah.
like the Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And then I always get swept up in the hubbub, and I'm like, oh well, I guess, so I bought like Sun, never played it. I bought Let's Go Eevee, never played it. I bought Shield, played that, but didn't like it enough. Then I skipped like all the remakes. And then I bought Arceus, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
And now the moment they announced Scarlet and Violet, and they were just like, yeah, it's kind of like Arceus, but like way better. And I'm just like, why am I going to beta test the thing you don't care about anymore?
Yeah.
But I have it, and I bought it digitally like an idiot, so I have to
Yep.
play it.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've completed a game for every single generation except Sun and Moon, just because I didn't want to play the 3DS at the time. But like I really liked Ruby, and probably Pokemon Black is probably actually one of my favorites of all time. But like X and Y were fine, Sword and Shield were boring, and then we'll see how Scarlet and Violet turns out. There's so many Pokemon hacks and like just completely fan made games that are so good in so many ways that it's always a little disheartening to see the lack of innovation on the Pokemon company's part. And like I understand it, you can't go like too dark or anything because it is a franchise aimed at children and it needs to sell, but I think they could take larger chances than they do generation to generation.
I feel like they have to, because I feel like they're dividing because they have the core audience that has grown up with Pokemon like us.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the young audience. And I think there's a disconnect where the older audience like us still wants to engage with Pokemon, but we want to engage in Pokemon in a continual way, like almost as like, I hate to say like games as a service, but like we want a Pokemon game. Like I think Pokemon Go appeals more to us than the regular Pokemon games have, because it's something we can just access, we can put down and come back to, and it's something that's always going on. Whereas, and because also we have cars and we can make poor decisions and just be like, oh, hold on, is there a stoplight? Cool, I'm catching this Rattata. But like, the newer generation of Pokemon, just like the monsters, they're just like, it's cool. They're like we were when we were kids. We didn't understand Pokemon. We played it because it was cool and because our friends were doing it.
Yeah, we thought the original 151 were the bomb, and then you realize one of them is just a sludge pile, and you're like, that's cool. One is just a Pokeball, and you're like, wait, I thought that was cool.
And then it's a big Pokeball.
And then it's a big upside down Pokeball.
Oh, God, Electrode is so. We have one that's a magnet, and when it evolves, 2 more magnets.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
you know what? Those are more creative than a lot of the new Pokemon. Look, this one's a set of jingly keys.
That's still the funniest one. And the worst part is Klefki is actually a really good Pokemon. They actually made him really good.
Yeah, it's just so many, like, just.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, they can only keep pushing the Switch hardware so much when already Sword and Shield was visually pretty disappointing, and a lot of the open world stuff from Arceus that I have seen and what I have heard is also very flat and disappointing as well. So we'll see. We'll see. I think like we've seen how art direction can trump graphical fidelity in a lot of Nintendo products. We'll just have to see if Pokemon ever takes that approach, I guess, to character designs, environments, because Super Mario Galaxy looks incredible. Even like Fast RMX looks amazing, and like different kinds of games. I understand that, but I think there's room for them to grow. Otherwise, they're just going to kind of keep recycling fans as they age out and new ones age in. But I don't know. It's more Pokemon than I thought we'd talk about, to be honest.
Yeah, but so just some other minor details. It looks like this particular game is set in kind of like a Spain/Portugal kind of setting.
Oh, that's cool.
So inspired designs for the characters with that regard. The starters are Sprigatito.
Gesundheit.
I think that's how you say that.
Let me bring him up. Scarlet.
Sprigatito, our resident Italian.
Hold on. Let me spaghetti this.
And then Fuecoco is maybe my favorite name. I know I said that right.
Yeah, Sprigatito. Yeah,
Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley.
I'm
Quaxley's fabulous.
yeah,
You
Quaxley's
got the
pretty
sassy hand down, he just
Mhm.
like, they know their business.
It's gonna be interesting because if they make Fuecoco's evolution firefighting for like the 4th time in the franchise for the fire starter, I'm gonna riot. They need a different typing. It's either straight fire or firefighting. Because there was Blaziken, there was um there was Incineroar. Like they just make that typing all the time. I want interesting typing ability or typing combinations. But if I had to pick out of these 3, see, I generally like the
Well,
grass starter.
So Fuecoco is a fire croc,
Yeah,
a fire crocodile. So maybe
like
even for I was gonna say maybe like a fire for alligator, but like
I mean, there is a fire water Pokemon in Volcanion. There's precedent for it.
there's a fire water.
Volcanion, a legendary. Yeah,
That's wow.
yeah.
I was more going like maybe it's for alligator, but with like a fancy hat.
I like that way better than
And
my
he just stands there and he's like, "Dulung, ole."
Oh my god, yeah. For me, again, I usually go with the grass starter. Not into cats, and it looks super generic cat, just green.
I don't know. People seem to love it, and they just want it to stay on all 4s.
Yeah. That's nah. I really see. I went in Sword and Shield. The water starter was Sobble, who was the depressed little tadpole, and then he turns into like emo edgelord for his final evolution. I was super disappointed by that. I don't know how sassy Quaxley's going to turn out, but I'm leaning toward Quaxley. If when these come out, I assume you want Fuecoco. Probably.
Probably.
I'll go Fuecoco, and you go Fuecoco, and I'll go Quaxley, and we'll see how those end up, those evolutions. Because when it comes to starter evolutions, I try to go like radio silent on those because that's the best part of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sassy Quaxley is I love that a lot. Anyway,
I want Quaxley to have like the sassy snap, just seems very fitting for that.
Yeah, great hair.
One more. Yeah, so it is open world. The towns will blend seamlessly into the wilderness with no borders, and Pokemon will apparently be abundant all over the map.
We'll see what
Is
that
the
does for the frame
details
rate.
I'm hearing. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, you'd think by now they've learned. Yeah, I know. There's lots of ways you can make a game look good without, having without having like incredible visual fidelity.
Yep.
But I'm clicking. Some of these are tweets that I pulled, and then just seeing now. I'm like looking back and seeing some of the comments. I'm just like, that's funny. Keeping it on Nintendo. My heart was broken, Ross.
Why was your heart broken, Chris?
My heart, she was broken.
Hmm.
In light of this was a tweet from March 9th. In light of recent world events, we have made the decision to delay Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, which was originally scheduled to release on Nintendo Switch on April 8th. Please stay tuned for updates on a new release date. Wasn't a huge issue for me. I know the first game had the extreme misfortune of launching just before 9/11.
Yeah.
So Advance Wars has a history, unfortunately, of ill-timed releases around tragic world events, which has hurt it. On one hand, I'm sitting here like, yeah, it's cartoon violence. I think we're at a point where we can establish a difference, but then I could also understand Nintendo from a point of good taste being like, we don't want to, there are definitely inspired designs in Advance Wars, and the last thing you want is, the decidedly more, Russian, Soviet kind of inspired designs fighting like, the Eastern European kind of, and then having that, and it's just like then people are making videos on YouTube of like, Russia fighting back, or Ukraine fighting back, and like shit like that, and then they're just like, we don't want to make these games not a political statement, you assholes. It's cartoon violence.
Yeah. It's second time it's been delayed, but I think it makes sense. I'm still excited for it because I only played a little bit of the originals, but there was another delay, Chris, as well for another Nintendo game.
Which one?
Breath of the Wild pushed back to spring 2023, which is not super surprising. But Chris, you know what I'm excited about, and I'm getting animated here a little bit.
Okay, animated Ross. By the way, this week we're bringing back the video. So if you're listening to this in audio form, look at that. He's doing the. You have to watch to find out. Oh God, I'm editing it now, and I hate this is gonna be my first time, so forgive me. That's gonna be going up on the HalfGen YouTube. I will try and put a link to that in the show notes. It's gonna go up in 3 parts, so you can pick and choose what you want to listen to. Yeah. So animated Ross, please continue.
Animated Ross. So with Breath of the Wild 2, which I'm very excited about, being pushed back to spring 2023. That just opens it up. Hold on. For Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to slurp up those 2022 sales. Let's go! Xenoblade 3. Let's go.
Dear Monolith Soft. I know it's hard times. Can't delay that game.
Nope.
It's got to come out.
It's got to come out.
Come out.
It has to happen.
This is your your moment, one opportunity. It's everything you ever wanted.
Yep. Don't. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm also very excited for Breath of the Wild. I'm glad it was delayed if that means it will be better. That's my general stance on game delays. If it makes the game better, so be it. That's a good thing. Sure, it's frustrating in the short term, but it's much better in the long term.
Oh, shit.
Breaking news.
6 hours ago, but I didn't see it. Crows. The developers of the Stanley Parable. Yeah. Ultra Deluxe is coming April 27th. They announced it at the Game Awards like 2019, I think.
What is Ultra Deluxe? Is it just the console release?
It's the console release, but it's also the additional content. They added new endings.
Oh,
I've been
Jesus.
waiting for this.
Oh, nice.
I've been waiting so long for this.
Comes out in April. That's awesome. April 27th.
Yeah, when did they announce this though?
6 hours
I
ago.
need to figure out. No. I know that, but I mean, like
Oh, the
the
original.
original announcement. It was at the Game Awards.
Game Awards.
I'm just trying to remember which year.
2018 is my
It
guess.
was 18. It was supposed to come out 19.
I'm so good at my
I
job.
think.
Yes. Just leave it at yes. Here we go. See, this is a prime example of a small detail that largely is irrelevant, but will
At the Game
bother
Awards
Chris
2018.
until
Oh
he.
my
Yep.
God. Yeah, I have to know. Dude, I've been waiting 3 years for this.
April 27th, coming to Steam, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S. April 27th.
Oh man, I can't believe.
Which makes sense because you are employee 427. So that's why the release date. Oh man, I'll be excited to replay that game because I only remember a couple endings at this point.
I know, like it ends up being good in a way because now I don't remember as much of it. I just remember that game being genuinely funny.
Yeah, I'm
I
excited.
do remember the baby one, and you had to keep saving the baby.
Yep.
There's like continually dreadful ways for the baby to meet its end, and it's like, okay, but now what if the baby? It's just like, leave the baby alone and press the fucking button as fast as I can. Like, leave the baby alone.
Oh god.
Did you ever do like the broom closet endings?
I think so. Yeah.
Again, you just sit in the closet and he just like talks about his life and he reflects on his decisions. He's like, Stanley sat in that closet. He just stayed in that closet.
Yeah, and just as a reminder to our viewers/listeners, the original game came out 11 years ago. I don't remember anything from last year.
It's been that long?
It's July 31st, 2011.
Oh my god. When's the last time I played this? Oh my god.
Was it 2011?
Last played October 19th, 2013.
2013
was the last time I played the Stanley Parable.
Last time I played it, January 4th, 2014.
Because I told you to play it, remember?
Yeah.
Because I played it and I was like, yo, you got to do this.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because November 28th, 2019 is when it was supposed to come out and it was delayed. That was the delay and they hadn't said anything since then.
That's crazy.
Until December 2nd, 2021, where they said Ultra Deluxe is content complete and you could wishlist it. But then still nothing. There's a community content. It's just CJ from Grand Theft Auto from San Andreas. It's just, aw, shit, here we go again, walking down the hall. Oh, man, I'm so excited for that. I'm a little less sad about Advance Wars now.
Was this made... This was made on the Source engine, right?
I believe so.
It screams Source to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, wait till you play that at really high frame rate because everything on Source runs really high frame rate.
It's yeah.
And more good news.
Hey,
Ross. All right.
Yes.
I want you to guess a number, okay? And it is
6.
the first week sales of. No,
Elden
I'm sorry.
Ring?
So it was in February. Okay. So since Elden Ring released until March 15th, okay? When did Elden Ring come out? The 27th? It was like the last Friday of that month. Okay, so it had been on the market for about 2 weeks, okay? Guess the sales numbers.
From Software games, not super mainstream, don't sell a lot. I know it's a lot. I'm just, hold on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
A little niche. How about like 500,000 copies?
More.
1 million.
More.
5.
More.
10.
More.
15.
No, not quite there. By
12.
now, yes. It sold 12 million copies, including 1 million in Japan. For context, that was at this time. This was as of March 15th. So it's 2 more weeks. It's been the top seller on Steam every week since its release.
That's nuts.
It is selling. Oh, at this point, I'm pretty sure they've more or less confirmed it's sold over 20 million copies.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3 hit 10 million 4 years after launch.
Yeah. It's
Elden Ring has already doubled that in like 4 weeks.
yeah, it's
It is
crazy.
insane how this game has become a cultural phenomenon. And like all the tweets I saw under like the Breath of the Wild delay were all like, well, I guess Elden Ring's just game of the year now.
Yeah, it's like we don't need to watch the Game Awards this year for the awards because it's obvious Elden Ring will win everything. Um, but From Software, From Software and Rockstar are my two biggest frustrations in the video game industry.
Let me tell you real quick.
Okay,
I'm not going to sit here and tell you, Ross, Elden Ring is going to change your mind forever. It's not. Elden Ring is still very much one of those games, but here's what I will tell you.
so
For
ignore the noise in
the
the background. I'm deciding to sit down, so my desk will make a little bit of noise. Let me back up.
so last I heard for achievement progress, okay? By percentage, what percent of players do you think have beaten the first major boss in Elden Ring?
50%,
More.
75.
Right about there.
Yeah,
How many go on to beat the second major achievement boss?
35%,
More.
40%,
More.
50%.
Right about over 50%, I think, at this point, continue on. This game is retaining players in a way none of their games ever have before.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a sale because I've been like of pretty strict belief of if I don't like a gameplay style, there's not much that can change it.
Here's the
And
cool thing that I can
oh,
tell you,
oh,
and getting a little ahead of myself. One of the cool things that I liked immediately about Elden Ring is because it's a big open world, you can explore and do all that stuff. But what's really cool is there's the day night cycle in it. So you can progress time and stuff. And there was a message I read. I was on this bridge and it said something, to the effect of come back at night and strong enemy ahead. And I came back and there was some Reaper motherfucker walking around on a horse. And I did not fight that because that seemed like a horrible idea. Because the first guy you fight when you like get to the overworld is also on a horse. And I was like, oh, let me go fight him. He had a health bar and a name and everything. And so I got my ass kicked multiple times before I was like, we'll come back
yeah,
later. The open world works so incredibly well for this game, and it completely changes how you experience it, because whereas the other Souls games were like there were forking paths that all kind of came back in certain ways, or there was forking paths and you go a little bit and then it's a dead end, and it's always trying to funnel you basically down that mainline path.
hmm
Elden Ring doesn't have that.
it's like it's From Software's Breath of the Wild.
But it's so much more than that, because it's like it doesn't compromise their vision of a Souls game to
hmm
do it. And I'm not saying that Breath of the Wild did that for Zelda, but what I'm saying is they managed to make this big, incredible open world full of stuff to do and mystery. Dude, I was listening. The shit that I have heard about this game, I heard people talking and they were like, yeah, so then I got in this elevator and found an underground city.
Hmm.
Just this big underground fucking place.
Yeah,
And they're talking about all this stuff, and they're like, every time like they play this game, they're just like, and then I found this.
yeah,
And it's like it's one of those like games that like you hear like what people are doing in it, and it's just like, oh my god, like I need to see that. And then it's like, what have they missed?
hmm
Because there's so much.
yeah, and kind of what I was going toward before. It's like when a gameplay style doesn't click, I don't think games in the same franchise will necessarily win me over. So far, that's been the case for Rockstar. For some reason, I just can't get their character movement. Like, I understand it, I just hate it. The way their characters move and animate in those games. But last year taught me something, and last year taught me that I can love games in a franchise I've been completely indifferent about prior if it's the right game and hits at the right time. Because Monster Hunter Rise was basically my game of the year last year. and I had not liked any Monster Hunter games before that. Um, to the point where purchased it a second time on PC and is starting from scratch again and still having an amazing time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I my gut tells me that I'm still going to be iffy on Elden Ring, which is why I want to wait for a sale. But I do plan on playing it at some point this year.
And for what is the other thing, I know I keep giving you the for what it's worth. I'm trying not to just do that, but like co-op is apparently a lot easier to do because they give it to you right up front and they're like way
mm,
less restrictive about it.
yeah.
So it's like they even did this thing. So like to encourage exploration, because normally if you died, you went back to your bonfire. But they have these little statues out in the world near like areas of like
Oh, they act like
importance.
checkpoints, right?
Yes, basically. So
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
die, you can respawn there instead
Mm-hmm.
of your last bonfire. So
Yeah.
like they might put them at the entrance of like an underground dungeon with a boss, or they might put one between a bunch of bonfires because they don't want you to feel like I can't push past this. The game does all of these really intelligent things that encourage you to keep pushing
Mm-hmm.
without like without making it feel like they're taking away from the experience. They're just like, yo, just take the chance. This like Elden Ring is just a game that tells you just do it. Like, so what? You come back, you lose 2 minutes. There's a statue right there. You're good. You come back, you pick your stuff up, you go. Or worst case, you lose some runes, you know. But it's like, it's the story, you know.
Yeah.
The game is constantly like pushing you in any direction you want to go, and it's just like I've kind of almost had a hard time playing it because it's just like I know once I get into it, I'm gonna be like incredibly hooked. I'll talk more game stuff later. I don't want to get on too far of a tangent for this, but
Yeah. What I will say, and again, we are recording this on March 30th. As of right now, if this sale stands to when I get paid on Friday, it is on Green Man Gaming for 17% off, which is a price I would probably go for. And they have some stats about it. Average time played 56 hours from a little over 125,000 community owners, and average completion is 30%, which I feel like all of those things are far higher than any FromSoft game prior to it.
dude, I don't know how they did it, but they took their formula, they changed it just enough to make it everything all the hardcore fans wanted,
Mm-hmm.
but also bring in a whole new audience and
Yeah.
retain them. And I
Yeah.
don't understand it, but I kind of love it.
Yeah. And I want games and franchises. I want to love all games, but some just don't click. And especially some that are like super well received and popular. Like Chris, I'm sure you have games that have gotten like 10s out of 10s and 9s out of 10s that are universally loved that you just can't get into. And
Like
I know,
Ocarina of Time.
yeah, and like that's the case for me in a lot of cases. Like every Grand Theft Auto game I've played, I just don't like the controls and the character movement. Red Dead, I don't like westerns, so the setting compounded with the controls, I already wasn't a fan of. I only like to play GTA with friends. Otherwise, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And even
I
then, it's still kind of iffy.
like I've the reason I'm usually willing to keep trying games in a franchise is like I never finished an Assassin's Creed game until Syndicate,
Right.
you know?
Right.
I didn't care about Souls games until I finished Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there's always I didn't put a substantial amount of time into any Monster Hunter game until Rise, you know? There's always like this evolving nature of these games that like even if you didn't like the last one, a lot of times they're doing stuff to hook the next group of people. So it's not just about, okay, we already know we have, you know, we already have this person hooked on the next one. Like me, they're like, okay, Chris is going to buy Elden Ring.
Yeah.
How do we get Ross to play Elden Ring
It's
while
having enough.
ensuring that Chris
Yeah.
still has as good a time as he had before?
It's about it's the eternal balancing act from developers when it comes to kind of sequels and spiritual sequels of keeping enough of the game true to itself to appeal to existing fans while trying to implement new things to attract new players. And some people get it wrong. but From Software really does no wrong,
Well, I mean,
apparently.
except for Sekiro, because I didn't like that. I didn't like Sekiro.
That's an example of that game got like
I did
nines
not.
everywhere.
I did
Yeah,
not like that game. I got to a point with that game. I was like 20 something hours, and I was just like, I don't think I ever want to play this again. And
yeah.
I never played it again.
There's an example from you. Perfect.
Like,
But
but that's the same thing. Coming off of the high of, I loved Bloodborne. I loved
mhm,
Dark Souls 3 even more. I went back and I beat Dark Souls 1 remastered because I had to play it, and that I didn't like that as much, but I still finished it. I did it in a weekend. I
mhm.
binged the original Dark Souls in a weekend.
You ever gonna do the Dark Horse Dark Souls 2?
I couldn't get into it, and
Gotcha.
I don't feel like I have to.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like it's Sekiro just didn't. I beat Genichiro, and that was my crowning achievement. And then I was like, I thought maybe I was getting close, and then I wasn't even halfway. And I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm done.
It's
I
what
give
I know
up.
about
I
what I know
quit.
about that game is there's a boss fight with 3 monkeys and the Makiri counter is everything. That's what I know about that game because I
Yep.
watched a Let's Play.
I've watched
Um,
a lot of Let's Play. That game goes places.
yeah, it does.
It's
It's
crazy.
yeah.
I really
Anyway,
wish I liked it. Uh,
yeah, I say that about so many games.
yeah. Um, let's we're coming off the emotional high here of the grand success of
Elden Ring.
FromSoft right now. Let's talk about some struggles, unfortunately.
Mm,
Xbox Studio The Initiative,
yeah.
who have been working on Perfect Dark, the Perfect Dark reboot alongside Crystal Dynamics, apparently have had, quoting Tom Warren here, um, who's quoting an insider, fast and furious wave of senior departures in the past 12 months. So
Mm,
they're losing a lot of their senior development team. I think like one member who was like a previous part of the God of War team, they left. I think someone there from Sucker Punch left and went back to Sucker Punch.
I think I saw
Uh
that one. Yeah.
yeah. Like they left Sucker Punch for the initiative, then left the initiative to go back because they were just like, yeah, I want to get back to working on the games I love.
Hmm.
And it's not like doom and gloom, and I'm not trying to come at this from an angle of, oh, you can't buy this success, like, but it's like I think it's really telling that the one studio Microsoft has tried to build, their big pride and joy, we built this from the ground up, has really been struggling since they've been formed because they didn't have a game to talk about for years. Then apparently they scrapped that game to make Perfect Dark. And then I always thought it was weird that they brought in Crystal Dynamics to
Yeah.
work with them to develop this game. I feel like the road for the initiative has just been speed bump after speed bump. And it's like when you look at all the studios they've bought, you don't hear these issues. Double Fine put out Psychonauts 2, which in any other year could have been a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I think last year in a
I
lot of
think it
ways it was
was.
a
Yeah.
Game of the Year contender. And,
Yeah.
and they just said like, hey, because Microsoft bought us, we were able to make the game we wanted to make, and they made arguably their best game ever.
Yeah.
I didn't care about Psychonauts, but it was on Game Pass, and I tried it, and that game was incredible.
Yeah. Shout out
Like
to anyone in our audience who's a big Iron Brigade fan. Still one of my favorites.
Iron
Love Iron
Brigade,
Brigade.
baby. Rest in peace, Trenched. But yeah, I played when it was Trenched. Iron Brigade's a better name anyway.
It is.
But it's just like they haven't. And then you also compound that with 343, which is another studio that they've built up, and we look at the struggles of Halo Infinite. And what's the deal? Like, why is it that Microsoft, with the exception, I guess, of the Coalition, because they're just a bunch of people who made Gears of War and they're still making Gears of War, Microsoft hasn't had like a really kind of universally successful internal team other than Turn 10
Yeah.
in what, like, it's Turn 10 and the Coalition. Even though Gears 5 had its problems, it was a generally well-received game, and there was nothing wrong with Gears 5. It was just a little fluffy.
Fluffy.
But yeah, fluffy. They have
It's
2.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the 2 that I can think of that are, like, really just internally built up and successful. Everything else they've bought, and that's not necessarily a bad thing either because, again, like, Double Fine's the perfect example. In Exile's working on a new game, and Wasteland 3 came out and did really well. So, like, these studios that Microsoft are buying are doing very well. They're happy, they like what they're doing, but their internal teams just can't seem to get their shit together, and I don't wanna sound cruel, but, like, Halo Infinite was delayed a year and still came out a year too early.
Yep. I think it's still on season 1 of, like,
Till
its multiplayer
May.
till May, which is crazy.
And then they're still not gonna have co-op ready like they said. They're
Yeah.
still not gonna have Forge. That game is not content complete. That game is not done until those features are in that game
Mhm.
because they're a part of Halo. And I just don't understand. Like, I guess I understand because I know there was a lot of mismanagement and there was a lot of like, hey, we have to redo our engine and stuff like that. And from the sound of it, when that whole 2020 E3 thing happened and everything, like everybody was like, "Yo, this game looks awful." They more or less had to go back to the drawing board, and basically remake huge swaths of the game. But like, to me, it's just like at a certain point, I look at it as you got to let somebody else try and make a Halo game.
Yep.
You got to get 343 doing something different. You
'Cause
got
they're
to like
t
figure
t
out what the hell the initiative is. Do they need to be a studio at this point?
yeah,
You
'cause
know,
at least with 343, like, they put out proficient games. Like, Halo 4, well received, probably the most beautiful 360 game that ever came out. And
100%.
Halo 5, like, had a lot of problems, but there was nothing broken about it. They're a good development team. It's
They're a
just
technically proficient development team. I think they struggle a lot in
narrative.
yeah, primarily the narrative stuff.
Yeah.
And I wonder if maybe like the 360 was just so mature at that point that they had so much
Mhm.
experience with it and they were just like, yo, it's going to be easy to crank this game out.
Yeah.
Um, but like
And
they even when they do get even when like a game like Halo 5 that comes out and they get so much of it right, like you said, it didn't do what they, expected it to do.
yeah, yeah, and, like, part of me when we started going over the story about some, like, big names leaving the studio, like, from was it Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch that
It
left
was a
and then came
lot of
back?
they brought in a lot of Sony
It
talent.
it makes me think it immediately made me think of, like, sports all-star teams, where you bring together all of these, like, really fantastic pieces, but it I mean, sometimes it doesn't work when you just put the best of the best together because you need people to be able to support the best instead of just, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it can't just be it needs to be a team. And if there's like fighting visions on the team or something like that, but a lot of this just sounds like mismanagement from higher up in terms of providing, like, especially with the initiative, like, exactly what their goals should be, like a direction, and it just seems like, yeah, it just kind of seems like mismanagement. Like, it seems like 343 is kind of their own worst enemy. But with the initiative, I mean, like you said, we haven't seen a game come out with them yet.
And the fact that they got an external partner to assist on that project still
And with
blows my
cr-
mind.
and with it being Crystal Dynamics, which is weird if Perfect Dark is going to be an FPS.
Yeah, because like it's not like Sony doesn't do this. Sony has a support team built into the infrastructure of their PlayStation studios. We learned a lot about that when it came to Days Gone and stuff like that. They pulled they pulled people from Ben to help get The Last of Us Part 2 over the finish line. Like, it's not uncommon. Criterion helped release Battlefield 2042. They had to put Need for Speed on hold. Excuse me. It's not uncommon to have these development partners come in and help you push a game out the door. But the fact that you're looking at these struggles in 343, they've had to change their management how many times in the last 2 years, over the course of this troubled development, which is its own problem. and for their most ambitious game, because let's be real, Halo 4 was very by the numbers Halo. All they did was kind of change up how some of the stuff worked. They embraced a little more Call of Duty, which,
Hmm.
you know, a lot of people didn't like at the time, and now they've kind of come around on. But you know, they doubled down on some of the decisions that Bungie made in Halo Reach. But Halo 4 was a very by the numbers game that was just like, okay, we just added more personality to the Master Chief, which I still think is one of the best decisions they made. They just need to do it in a better way. Then they made Halo 5, which was just a drastic departure from that, but still technically proficient. But it
Yeah.
lost the soul because they got away from the mission in a way,
It took
you
3 hours to beat on normal.
Yeah, and it didn't tell a compelling story because here's 4 new characters that I don't give a fuck about because you told me this was a Master Chief story.
And it doubled the fact for longtime Halo fans, especially ones in the lore, because you brought in the legendary blue team and did nothing with them.
Absolutely nothing, except if you play as Fred, you start with a shotgun.
Yeah,
It's like, that's cool, but like, what the like, to anyone but me, who is Fred?
Yeah, and also the marketing campaign was 100 times better than the actual story for Halo 5. Anyway.
And then like Halo Infinite being an open world game, I think is the best playing Halo ever. And I think they nailed the gameplay, and part of that is because, you know, they added a grappling hook, and grappling hooks make every game better. You can't prove me wrong. Games are always better when they have grappling hooks.
Like
Or the
Sekiro,
grappling hook in Destiny.
where it was a
Yep.
Souls game with a grappling hook.
But the
So it's
grappling
the
hook
best
was
Souls
great.
game.
The grappling hook was great. I have no gripes with the grappling hook.
Fair enough.
Okay?
No grappling hook gripes.
No gripes.
No
The
gripes.
swinging was great in Spider-Man. Web slinging, kind of like a grappling hook. It counts.
a more fluid grappling hook. Yep.
It's like a more natural, like environmentally friendly grappling hook.
Oh, that's great.
Biodegradable grappling hook.
Yo, let's go on Shark Tank. Let's do this.
Put that in a note somewhere. Might be a title. Biodegradable grappling hook.
Yep.
That might be a title. But oh my god. Like, I don't know. I don't want to stay on this tangent too long, and I also don't want to go on another 343 rant because that's not helping anything at this point. But it's like, I'm really worried about what Microsoft is doing with their internal teams and how they're being managed and how they're going to get these games where they need to be. Because again, Halo Infinite still feels like it came out a year too early after being delayed a full year.
Yeah. Like, I put 5 or 6 hours into it and like I had fun playing it, but it felt empty without co-op.
That game screams co-op.
Yeah.
That's like, that game is like kind of like Far Cry, but like, you know, way better than Far Cry. But like, that is a game that I want to hop in because you can spawn vehicles kind of however you want. I want to hop on a mongoose, be like, Ross, get on, we're going somewhere. And I want to hunt down these targets and stuff, which are really cool. I love the moment to moment gameplay of Halo Infinite. When you are in that good combat loop, it is incredible, but it would be so much better if my buddy was there. And exactly. I know, like, you know, a game has to stand alone on its own. And, you know, maybe that's a gripe of the game that it's not as good in single player. But I don't know. I can't say yet because I haven't played co-op. But I just don't get it. I just don't get why. And, you know, maybe that's just because I'm not a developer. You know, I don't understand that side of the business. But I really hope 343 figures it out and that, you know, we get another 10 years of great Halo, and they got to figure out this multiplayer because they're losing their goodwill with that right now. And, you know, I hope the initiative, you know, gets Perfect Dark out the door, and I hope, you know, in spite of all its struggles, it's successful because it's better. It's better if these games come out and are good. There's no scenario where the initiative releasing a bad game helps anybody except, you know, the fanboys who want to fight the console war.
Yeah.
Which, again, there's no benefit to anyone of any meaning, you know, or anyone of any, like, value in the conversation. You know? But it's just, I really hope they figure it out. I'm going to roll down I'm gonna save the PlayStation stuff for the end because we got like 3 PlayStation stories. I did pull the Breath of the Wild delay. Cool. Good on me. We already talked about that though. I'm clicking through my links real quick. Bungie has filed a lawsuit against scammers who fraudulently forced the removal of multiple Destiny 2 videos.
Huh.
Yeah, I got an article here on PC Gamer. So basically, over the last like 2-ish weeks, there were a bunch of takedown notices on videos having to do with Destiny, and a lot of them just used like Destiny music and stuff. But Bungie has previously come out and said, as long as you know 20% of the work is transformative, which is like commentary or stuff like that. They were like, we don't want people reposting our trailers and not saying anything, but like if you want to use our music in the background of a video, that's okay. If you want to do, if you want to have our trailer in your video and then talk about it, that's okay. Bungie has been very lenient with a lot of that stuff and very open with a lot of that stuff in a way that other studios and publishers have not. And so, coming off of the acquisition by PlayStation, stuff like that, a lot of people were worried because Bungie was like, here all of a sudden, here's all these takedowns. And it turns out that it wasn't actually being done by Bungie's partner company that handles that, because they were also targeting Bungie's channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Bungie had videos taken down or targeted for takedown. And so the real meat and potatoes of this is Bungie's comment on YouTube. And Bungie has been good. So they had a bunch of channels that were like archiving older music that wasn't available in like soundtracks and stuff. And because of this, Bungie has come back and they're like, okay, we understand the value of like archival stuff. So now they're allowing creators to apply for like a license so they can take unreleased music, as long as they haven't been released or are not available on like a soundtrack somewhere that someone can buy, they can put out this unreleased music on YouTube now. So like tracks from the Red War campaign and stuff that didn't make the soundtrack, like the Almighty and things like that, they can theoretically now repost those and we can keep that music out there. But I'm trying to find the... Yeah, okay. So this is what Bungie said. The Destiny community was bewildered and upset, believing that Bungie had reneged on a promise to allow players to build their own streaming communities and YouTube channels on Destiny 2 content. The Destiny community members were also misled to believe that Bungie's brand protection agent was also fraudulent, causing confusion among users as to the authenticity of legitimate DMCA notices. Bungie had to devote significant internal resources to addressing it and helping its players restore their videos and channels, an effort complicated by the fact that while YouTube has a form that allows anyone to claim to represent a copyright holder and issue copyright strikes, it has no dedicated mechanism for copyright holders who are being impersonated to let YouTube know about the DMCA fraud.
That was a lot.
So, like, they basically went after YouTube and they were like, yo, you suck.
Oh, now
like,
I get it. Cool.
You make it really easy to take down videos. Ross, you could go on, issue a bunch of takedown notices, and YouTube has to do it. Because if you just say, hi, I'm Ross and I'm from HalfGen and they're doing our shit, and then YouTube can go and just be like, okay, well, they say so. And then if they come back and they're like, no, that's bullshit. That wasn't Ross. I'm Ross. That was someone else. And they're like, oh, shit. That sucks. But Bungie had to go the extra mile. They had to reach out to multiple contacts at YouTube to get these like strikes taken down and copyright notices taken down so that these channels didn't get affected permanently. So Bungie spent over a week trying to get this stuff done, and they eventually did it. But there were like a lot of people who were like, I don't know if my channel is going to survive this. Mm-hmm. And, Bungie did the work. So credit to them. But so Bungie is suing the bad actors. Bungie convinced YouTube that they were fraudulent, and so YouTube deleted their accounts and stuff. But it's been a problem that has been known for a long time, that YouTube has really bad, really easy to manipulate copyright standards. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now that Bungie going after them, I feel like that's going to force the change that is needed for that, because that shit's a mess. And it's way too easy to just be like, a couple bad actors could not like a video you put up or not like a specific creator. And if they're smart enough, all they did was make their email address look like the authentic one. Bless you. But that was all it was, is the email looked right. And so they just did it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. But anyway, so that's going. They're suing them. Good for Bungie. And YouTube, be better. Ross.
Yes.
It's happening.
Oh God.
The Witcher. It's back.
DLC.
No.
And the next gen upgrade.
No.
Oh, what?
There is a new Witcher game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There is a new Witcher game in active development. CD Projekt Red has made a deal. They have a multi-year strategic partnership with Epic Games that not only covers licensing but technical development on Unreal Engine 5. So they're going to help make Unreal Engine 5 more favorable for open world games, and in exchange, Epic is going to give them a bunch of like priority access to like support teams and stuff like that, I imagine. And they're making their new game on Unreal 5 instead of the Red Engine. Which I have to imagine will be easier because now they can hire people who will already have experience with Unreal and not have to learn a new proprietary engine. But also, Unreal probably won't have all the issues that the Red Engine historically has.
Yeah. Yeah. And from the kind of just reveal image of the new Witcher game, we see a Witcher medallion in the snow.
It's not Geralt's, though.
Nope, it is School of the Cat instead of School of the Wolf. So I'm not super well versed in the lore. I'm not sure if there are any like well-known School of the Cat people.
I think a lot of people are wondering if it's going to be based on Ciri.
Yeah, we'll see. She's School of the Wolf technically because she was trained by Geralt and stayed in the Keep in Kaer Morhen and all that. But the common theory is that, yeah, why wouldn't it be Ciri? She was playable in The Witcher 3. She's a popular character. She has cool powers, but we'll see. I'm super excited as someone who came very late to The Witcher, especially The Witcher 3. Played it, I think, 2017, 2018, and it became one of my favorite games of all time after trying to start it multiple times and not being able to get into it. That is an example of when I pushed through.
2019, because it was after we built your PC.
Oh, right. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
God. That was 2020.
All the time is a soup.
Because I'm pretty sure it was 2020. I thought it was after we rebuilt your PC.
I genuinely don't remember.
I don't either now. Shit.
I
remember you showing me, but I don't remember when.
When I played The Witcher?
Yeah. I don't know.
It was, I'll tell you.
It was around the time it came out on Switch, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
because you played it on Switch and then you played it on PC.
Well, I played through the whole thing on Switch and then I messed around on the PC version for a little bit.
Because I remember you showed me the DLC on PC.
Yeah, so it was 2019.
It was
2019 into 2020.
Yeah,
it overlapped. But
you know what? You might have showed me. You might have installed The Witcher while I was there to show me.
Yeah, I think that was it.
That was it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm very excited for whatever the next Witcher game is, and excited that they're using Unreal Engine 5 because I've seen from Unreal Engine 5. It is a pretty engine and seems like it will be relatively easy to work with. So can I include a couple of other Witcher related news items?
Absolutely.
So at some point, I think in Q2 or by summer, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will be getting DLC, free DLC, which will be, I believe, Henry Cavill as a replacement model, I think, for Geralt. Hold on.
And this is
Where
all
is
supposed
this?
to coincide with the next gen update, right?
I believe so. Yes. So the next gen update is Q2. Um, and yeah, it's getting. Why am I not finding this now? It's apparently all we know is it's inspired by the Netflix show. It won't be like huge like Hearts of Stone or Blood and Wine, but we don't even know if it will just be outfits or if it will have its own story or not. But The Witcher 3, a game that is now 7 years old, will be getting some fresh DLC come this year. And the next gen update is again scheduled for Q2. It is a free update for owners of The Witcher 3. Um, in terms of like the upgrade price, it's free for all owners. So PS4 owners can play the PS5 version, Xbox One owners can play the Series X version, and PC players will just get it. Um, so I'm excited because I love The Witcher. End of report.
End session. Um, all right, last three. This is all PlayStation news. Two of them are actual news things, official from Sony. One of them's a rumor that I believe is credible because it just kind of makes sense. We're gonna start with this one. Remember when Sony, PlayStation announced they had a partnership with Haven Studios, led by Jade Raymond?
Yes.
That apparently is going really well because they bought them.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yo.
They did confirm that their new IP is going to be a AAA multiplayer experience. It sounds like it's going to be a games as a service type thing, which is part of why they bought Bungie.
Yeah.
Um, do you want me to read the statement from Jade Raymond?
Sure.
Okay. One year ago this month, we embarked on a journey to start Haven Studios with a small team and big ambitions. Our goal was to build a studio where we can make the kind of games we always wanted to create and games we've longed to play. We've made amazing progress in a short time thanks to our talented, passionate team and their exceptional contributions. We established a culture at Haven grounded in kindness, adaptability, and courage that unlocks creativity. Our first new IP for PlayStation is on track to deliver a AAA multiplayer experience with a vision to build a systemic and evolving world focused on freedom, thrill, and playfulness that will keep players entertained and engaged for years. Today, the Haven team begins a new phase of our journey as part of the PlayStation Studios family. Working with Herman, Connie Booth, and the team at PlayStation over the past year has been a career highlight. SIE is a supportive partner that truly understands the creative process and what it takes to make a blockbuster AAA game. They have empowered and encouraged us to bring our bold vision to life and make our dreams come true we could not be more thrilled about this opportunity to strengthen our partnership. At SIE for as a SIE first party studio, we will have the opportunity to collaborate with some of the world's most renowned development teams, including studios like Gorilla, Naughty Dog, Media Molecule, and Insomniac Games, the creators of games that have inspired us as players and developers for years. We are excited to learn from these world class studios, as well as the exceptional central creative technology and marketing teams whose expertise will enable us to deliver even better games to players. To our Haven team, a huge thank you. It's been one of the most rewarding years of my career. And to the players out there, we can't wait to share more. We're just at the beginning of what is sure to be a wondrous adventure that will span generations.
It,
So,
it's exciting.
my
I,
understanding. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say it's very exciting. I'm a big Jade Raymond fan because she's worked on a lot of games I love. Um, she was there at the beginning and to help lead the creation of the original Assassin's Creed at Ubisoft. She was an executive producer for Assassin's Creed 2. She also worked on Splinter Cell Blacklist, which I think is underrated. She worked on the original Watch Dogs, which, whatever. She worked on Assassin's Creed Unity, which obviously a mess when it came out. Maybe in my top three Assassin's Creed games of all time now, after playing it recently. It's amazing. So I'm very excited to see that her studio seems to be doing well enough for Sony to take the plunge on them. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
I think it's very telling that they took the plunge, and there's a multitude of reasons I've come to understand why they did this. The first one being is it sounds like they've been ahead of schedule in development. So this team is cranking on all cylinders, which after talking about the initiative, again, I'm left to wonder, why Microsoft? Why can't you do this? Because here's this team that just got like an influx of like, okay, here's some of Sony's money, make the thing, and by all accounts, they're ahead. They're either right on track or ahead of schedule.
Mm,
So it sounds like this game was coming together in such a way that Sony was like, look, we want to make a bigger investment in you, but we can't make that investment unless you're part of PlayStation,
yeah.
because you're not going to invest look at Death Stranding as the perfect example. That was a relatively low budget game, for Hideo Kojima. They gave them a budget. Kojima made the best game he could make within that budget because he didn't want to be, part of PlayStation at that time, which is totally fair. Um, and I think they gave him more money, and that's why they made the director's cut and stuff like that. But here's a studio that's like, look, clearly they believe in the product they're making, and the checkbook is open, and they're like, look, maybe we want to give you the next $100 million you need, but it's going to include your studio. And obviously, Haven thought enough of Sony to be like, yeah, let's do it. But I think it's just very telling that they bought them at this stage. I think it just shows that Sony has a great deal of confidence in this development team, and what they're going to do with this game. So it seems very promising to me. But again, without having seen anything, the other part of this is that Sony now owns a studio in, I want to say they're based in Montreal.
That makes sense.
Because
Jade Raymond's from Montreal, so
So now they have their first Canadian studio, and a lot
oh yeah,
of
I guess they
game
don't have
development
one.
talent is in
Yes,
Montreal.
they are in Montreal,
Yeah.
confirmed. Yeah,
So Sony now has a wealth of additional talent available to them by having a studio up there. So it was strategic to bring talent into the PlayStation ecosystem, but it was also strategic because now Sony's like, look, if this game takes off the way they think it will, which, I guess on one hand, you got to hope that Sony understands, what they're really looking for here, and they're not just like jumping at it like, Square did at Babylon's Fall. But
yeah.
you know, I'm optimistic. This is
Mm,
this is exciting. I hope that team is now allowed to grow and continue to, be on the track they're on. I'm happy Jade Raymond is finally getting to be able to make a game again, which she couldn't do at Google. Um, but yeah, I think this is all really cool. I'm very happy for them. Um, as far as like my normal, like, I hate consolidation, I think Haven was new enough that like you can afford, this isn't like as much of an issue. I think it's going to ultimately be good for them because like they're a fresh studio trying to get rolling, and I think having the support of a publisher in a case like this is going to be very big for them. And Sony is really just trying to stay competitive in terms of what they're doing with their games, and how the industry is moving, so respect to them for that.
yeah.
On the other side of that coin, um, PlayStation is trying to adapt again. They announced the new PlayStation Plus stuff. I don't know if you have it in front of you. If you want to run
Yeah.
this down here, I can. Hold on, I'll link you real quick.
No, I got it.
You got it. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll put it there anyway. Yeah.
So, yeah, what was codenamed Spartacus, at least in the rumors leading up to the announcement, is that they're basically going to merge PlayStation Now with PlayStation Plus. So, PlayStation, for those who don't know, PlayStation Plus is their basically paid subscription service where you can play PS4 games, PS3 games, and some PS2 games.
No, PlayStation Now.
What did I say?
You said PlayStation Plus.
Sorry,
PlayStation Plus
PlayStation
is
Now
what lets you play online and you get your free games every month.
and cloud saves. Yeah. So yeah, they're merging the two systems. So the PlayStation Plus experience that everyone has come to know will still exist, but now as at a tier called the Essential tier, where nothing will basically change. Then is the Extra tier, and the Extra tier gives you access to like 400 PS4 games.
And
Um,
some PS5 games.
and some PS5 games from both first and third parties, with everything available to download, which is big. You don't have to stream things.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Jim Ryan said that all of their major partners are contributing to this. So it sounds like their major publishing partners are all contributing to this catalog of games. So I
Mhm.
expect a pretty robust lineup, hopefully.
Yeah, and then the extra tier uh, adds on to, in addition to the PS4 and PS5 games, uh, adds 340 more games on top of that, with PS3 games via cloud streaming, and all this is via IGN, and a library of PS1, PS2, and PSP games, as well as some cloud streaming for PS2, PSP, and PS4 games. So the difference is the price points. So the essential package, which is standard PlayStation Plus, is $60, like it's always been. No change to the service. The extra plan is $99 a year.
Oh, and they do also have monthly. So
Yes.
I'm on the PlayStation blog, so I've got the complete breakdown
Yeah, I do.
pricing. So
Yeah, I do too. Go
you
ahead
have
if you
okay.
want. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so essential is going to be their $9.99 monthly, $24.99 quarterly, $59.99 yearly. For the extra, it's $14.99, $39.99, $99.99 respectively, and then for the premium, $17.99, $49.99, $119.99 is
And
the rundown of that.
yeah. So um so yeah, at first glance, it might be like, whoa, $120 a year? But Microsoft just doesn't offer Game Pass subscriptions in anything other than monthly increments. And when you add up a year's worth of Game Pass Ultimate, it's like
It's the same
180
price.
bucks. It's
Well,
like $60
it
more.
depends how you do it. So if you just do Game Pass, like for console or PC, it's $9.99 a month. And then you can do Ultimate, which is $14.99 a month. But if you do the $9.99 tier, you still have to pay for Xbox Live Gold.
Right, right.
So in theory, Sony is offering a better price if you go yearly. The difference is the value prospect of Microsoft is giving you all of their games, including first party games on day one, stuff like that,
It's the
across
biggest
PC
difference,
and
yeah.
console. Sony is not. They've confirmed that they are not adding day one releases of their first party games. They did say, though, the collection will include a lot of games like Returnal is a part of that collection. Miles Morales is part of that collection. God of War, Death Stranding, the Spider-Man PS4, and I would assume it's remaster would be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat 11. So there are quality games in this, but Sony Jim Ryan came out and said that like, look, the way we make games doesn't work if we release them in a program like this. And it would
Yeah.
fundamentally change the way they have to develop games to include them in a service like this. Which, I get because Sony is putting bigger budgets into games than pretty much anybody is right now, for the most part. So as much as it sucks, and I'm not just trying to like needlessly defend anybody here, and as much as it's frustrating, like, hey, Microsoft can do it, why can't you? Well, you know, Microsoft's not making The Last of Us Part 2. They're not making God of War. They're not making those games. They're making Halo Infinite, which had a free multiplayer component. They're making Psychonauts 2, which is a decidedly not big budget game, and it just did very well with the budget it had. So it's they're not a one-to-one translation, and so when you add all those games up, and Microsoft is still making money on Game Pass, they're just not releasing the same caliber of games as Sony is, and that's just a fact.
I think I think for me, what this will come down to is their selection of older games. On PlayStation Now, they have like, I think it's like 15 or 20 PS2 games, which is just like, if the catalog is going to stay that small, it's stupid.
Well, the
Um,
340 games, I think, is the PlayStation, PS2, and PSP games,
so spread across those
because the 400
was just
games,
PS4 and PS5.
I would think. Hold on, there's little stars here. Hold on. Uh, Yeah. I would imagine a good chunk of that is going to be. I can't imagine it's just what's on PlayStation Now right now.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would not be good. That would not be good enough.
It'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what the rotation is, if new games are added, how often, how long games stay for when they're removed.
Well, I think what they're probably going to do is just release all their first party catalog. Like I would expect every Twisted Metal game to be on this service.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I would expect to be able to download and play any Twisted Metal game on my PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that.
Especially
you heard it here
especially
first.
the reboot, your favorite.
Well, first off, streaming only. It's a PS3 game. Second off, doesn't exist. Oh man, I'm gonna play so much Twisted Metal head on.
But yeah, it's a different service than Game Pass, and people need to recognize that. But
I just need to stress my biggest disappointment, my biggest letdown from all of this. Where the fuck is the Vita?
Yep.
Fuck you, Sony. Why? Why do you hate the Vita so? Why do you hate your child so much? This is the perfect opportunity to put Freedom Wars out again.
Chris, for them, the Vita was their mistake down by the lake. They don't want to acknowledge that it exists.
I want Freedom Wars again.
I mean, I do too, but it's not going to happen.
Dude, like, it kills a mercenary. Put that on it. Put the Uncharted game on it. Like,
did we have another Sony story before we get worked up?
Yeah.
What was the last Sony story to close out the news?
Rumors on the PS5 Pro.
Fuck off. I try not to swear. I said fut, F-U-T.
No, you didn't.
Dad.
I'm trying to do it less, but Sony deserved it. So I don't like the source of Red Gaming Tech. I'm just not super familiar with them. But this story was picked up by WCCF Tech, who is definitely more reputable in my eyes because I'm familiar with them. And this story tracks with kind of like how I would expect this to go. So according to the rumors, there's a new iteration of the PlayStation 5 that's going to become available either end 2023, which would be 3 years after the release of the PlayStation 5, which is exactly when they released the PS4 Pro from 13 to 16. So that tracks with the timetable, or sometime in 2024. And it brings substantial performance improvements. So 2 times performance in standard raster, which is more like rendering text, stuff like that. That's how the type of rendering is referred to, but it's going to bring better performance. 2.5 times the ray tracing performance. And it will be designed to provide a better experience with PlayStation VR titles.
Interesting.
The console...
go ahead. Sorry.
No, by all means,
please. I was just going to ask, as someone like yourself who's well-versed in PC gaming and graphics cards, what would you say the graphic capability is for the base PS5 roughly compared to like an NVIDIA card? What would you say it is?
We're probably looking at... Hold on.
In my mind, the benchmarks for the PS5 are Ratchet & Clank and Miles Morales.
We're probably looking around maybe like around like graphic performance around like an RTX 2070.
Okay.
So which in the Ampere generation, they had huge jumps and stuff like that. So it's still really good. We're probably in like that 3070 range, but it's also on board. So maybe like kind of between like a 3060, 3070 kind of thing. And they just eked out more performance because of a better architecture, because it's RDNA 2. So
wait, 3070 or you said 2070 first?
2070. I'm sorry.
Okay. Gotcha.
I meant 2070. Okay. I'm talking about an old gen.
No, I get it. A half gen.
So apparently it is going to use advanced reconstruction techniques that won't be the same that are used in AMD's FSR2, which is their like DLSS equivalent, the
Mm-hmm.
Fidelity Super Resolution. But apparently it's Sony's own proprietary technique. So they're building their own kind of super sampling tech for the PS5 Pro.
Interesting.
It's
Makes
going to
sense.
use, it sounds like it's going to use the same processing architecture, the 5 nanometer from TSMC, which is the same that's going to be used on AMD's new Zen 4 cores. So they're using a more advanced architecture for their hardware this time.
So it's more advanced. So these console wars can become advanced wars.
Not yet. It's delayed. They canceled my pre-order. It's not.
It doesn't exist. It got canceled.
It's so bad they canceled my pre-order. I don't want to talk about it. There's also apparently rumors that they could use a 4 nanometer process that, which is the same that Apple uses for their M2 chip.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuff's not in the world of consoles, that stuff's not as big of a deal, like which architecture they use, because they usually make the most out of whatever they have. But still, like, that would put the PlayStation 5 Pro right back at the cutting edge.
Yeah.
So like that stuff's all really exciting. I imagine this would probably be like a $599 console. I would expect this to cost more than the PS5 does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think
I
so.
don't know. I would imagine they would still do the 2 versions. Maybe they do the disc driveless one. Maybe that's $499, and then with the disc drive, it's $599. I wonder if they'll like have a built-in like, hey, hard. They usually do, like they did with the PS3 and 4, I think, where you could like hard transfer everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the PS5 doesn't feel like a slouch yet, but like there are definitely games like, Dying Light 2 that are not hitting, consistent 60 FPS and stuff like that, even in their performance mode. This Pro version would definitely put the console in more of like that 8K advertised echelon, where they could actually maybe run some games at theoretical 8K, but
Mm-hmm.
it would also just mean more games at 4K 60.
Fair enough.
So I think this is just going to be the future of consoles. I think it's just going to be every 3 years, you're just going to upgrade. If you want the cutting edge.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what Microsoft does, because I have to imagine that they're looking at what the next step is for the Series X. Because, Microsoft doesn't want to fall behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to wrap up the news. I'll be honest, that wasn't as long as I thought it was. It felt like we were talking for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
We're going to come back. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Ross, how about we talk about some video games?
Ooh.
I know.
Saucy.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about video games, and we're going to go from there. We got a big plan for the final portion of the show, so stick around. We'll catch you guys in just a second. I was thinking of like, so
welcome back.
There's a YouTuber who does a thing, and I don't want to steal his thing, but I kind of want to steal his thing. He always says at the beginning of his videos, he's like, "Hey there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals." So I was gonna say, "Ladies and gentlemen," and then I was like, I got in the conundrum. I'm like, do I want to just steal his shtick?
No, it's
but
we
it's
just
really
say
good.
We just say, "Welcome back, Gamer Nation."
Welcome back, Gamer Nation.
Nope.
You did this.
Instant regret.
Put that down.
Instant regret.
Look at that. 43 seconds in and we've already got one. I wish I could figure out how to spell that.
Another title. Welcome back, everyone.
Video games. The Gamer Nation. The games bring the Gamer Nation to the yard, because damn right. Ross, what have you been playing?
I think I actually short-circuited there.
Yeah, I broke you a little bit.
I've been playing a lot, dude.
Me too.
uh, so yeah, kind of we talked about a little bit in the news segment, very briefly. Um, my passion for gaming ebbs and flows. Right now, it's rising very
I get it.
significantly.
It's rising.
Oh,
Monster Hunter.
I thought you were talking about
Ah!
Metal Gear Rising. Anyway,
No, God.
um,
Was that
so
another Platinum game?
I don't
Did
know.
Platinum make that?
Anyway, so I started. I don't know where the inspiration came from. I think it was me. I'm gonna wait for Chris to confirm the developer because I know this is gonna
It was
bother him.
Platinum.
There it is.
Okay.
Um, I think it was me walking by my like Assassin's Creed like encyclopedia of lore, and I was like, "Huh, I should play an Assassin's Creed game." And then I saw like Valhalla DLC was coming out. I was like, I haven't played Valhalla yet, but I know the modern day story continues on from Odyssey. I should play Odyssey. And Odyssey in the Assassin's Creed community lambasted. It is it is titled as the worst game in the franchise, according to many Assassin's Creed fans, um,
The
because
aficionados, as it were.
there are no assassins in the game because it takes place before Origins, and there's nothing to do with the assassins whatsoever. Um, it just was kind of an open world Greek RPG game. But I played through it. What that game does do, it adds a lot more to the Isu, or the ones who came before storyline, the civilization that was originally native to Earth, who created humanity and was involved in the original games with Desmond showing up at the end of Assassin's Creed 2 when you fought the Pope, which is still a great sentence. Um, and so that's what Odyssey focused a lot on. Um, it's the first Assassin's Creed game where they did dialogue choices. But unlike a game like The Witcher, where there's dialogue choices, Geralt is a defined character, and the choices are all within the spectrum of things that he would say or do. Whereas in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they can be as drastic as like Mass Effect choices, where you're supposed to be Shepard, you shape Shepard. In Assassin's Creed, they're supposed to be defined protagonists with personalities, and like played as Cassandra. You can play as Cassandra or Alexios, and I play as Cassandra because I think the voice acting's better. And you could go from like basically saving this kid to killing a whole village, or this woman is not having her sex life with her husband is not great, a la Will and Jada, and so you can offer to have sex with the wife while the guy stands outside, and like these are all the same choices for the same character, and it's just narratively really dissonant. um, the gameplay is fine, and I think the story is mostly interesting. The biggest issue is that is level gating when it comes to the main story. Um, if you're a few levels below an enemy's level, you will just get destroyed, no matter how good you are. You will just do basically no damage, and they will kill you in one hit. Um, so if you just want to mainline the story, you can't. That is not a gameplay avenue that is available to you. It forces you to do side content. Um, and
Well, how else are you going to sleep with the wives?
exactly.
They need love
Um,
too.
but the biggest offender of the game is that I didn't have to do many side quests because Ubisoft and microtransactions. I didn't want to spend 80 hours in that game because I didn't find a lot of the side content that interesting.
I know where you're going with this.
So I bought the XP booster, which gives you 50% more experience from everything.
That was very controversial when the game came out because a
Yes.
lot of people genuinely believed, and I don't think they're wrong, that they made the game a grind, hoping people would pay their way out of it.
Yes. Yes,
As
which
you
I
did.
did. As I did. And so
As you
like
do.
even with that, there were still times where I had to do side quests that I didn't necessarily want to do. Um but so like at the end of the day, I beat the game in about 35 hours. At some point I just turned it on to easy because I didn't care about the combat. I just wanted to see the story. And even with that, I would probably give the game like a 7 out of 10, but that was with the XP booster on. If I didn't have the XP booster and I had to do way more side stuff that I didn't care about, probably like a 5 out of 10. It's gorgeous. Apparently it's like relatively historically accurate in terms of a lot of the stuff that's in that game. And another cool thing Ubisoft has done with what's the kind of fan base is dubbing like the RPG trilogy of Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla is that they do like the tours as like separate like game modes that you can download where you can basically run around the game world to different historical structures or people and learn about them, read about like the real life historical figures or the building. Like that's something I've always really appreciated about the Assassin's Creed series is like it deals with history and it bends it and breaks it sometimes, but especially early on, a lot of it was based in real history, which gave a lot of intrigue. Um, and kind of the discovery tours is what they call the modes where you can just run around and look at stuff. Like
Yeah,
those are great.
I know, like I know those have always been a big thing, like for the newer Assassin's Creed games. But I remember too when Notre Dame caught on fire,
Yeah.
or Notre Dame, I should say, I think is how it's been. But not the school. But when Notre Dame caught fire and was damaged, I remember Ubisoft was giving them the notes they had, like the structural
Mm-hmm.
details they had that they put into Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah.
And they were using Assassin's Creed Unity to help reconstruct the damaged portions
Yeah.
of Notre Dame.
Yeah. And one thing that I found out because I also got I saw it on Amazon for like discounted for like $5, so I just bought it. It's actually official merchandise, which I was kind of surprised about. But it's a book of from Ubisoft, basically of like infographics, like colorful infographics that are fun to look at with like information about the series, like as a book.
Mhm.
What I didn't realize is that I think, if I remember correctly, everything before Unity was downscaled by 20% in terms of like historical structures and cities and that sort of thing. Unity was the first Assassin's Creed game where everything was 1-to-1, which was such a huge deal. Um, so, but the historical accuracy is really fun. Like I spent a lot of time just watching videos of historians reacting to like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and they're like, wow, they really got like the painting down. Like they used like some like statues from a different structure on this structure, which isn't right, but they got this small detail super right. And it's just like I like Assassin's Creed for like the history because
Yeah,
it also inspired me to go on a Kindle buying spree of just books about each of those historical eras to just learn more about them because I find it so fascinating. I'm currently reading about the real life assassin order and Templars from the Third Crusade and the actual real life history behind those two sects.
that's awesome.
It's so interesting. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey was the first one that went a little more supernatural with some of its stuff.
I know,
Which
isn't Atlantis is in that game, I think?
Yes, Atlantis is in that game. You never go into it in the base game. You are trying to seal it off, basically. But it's framed as kind of a repository of knowledge from the Isu, the ones who came before.
Mhm.
Um, so that and like I mean, with Valhalla, you're getting into like fighting with Odin and gods and stuff, and it's like obviously Ubisoft is not going to take the Assassin's Creed name off of things because that sells, but it really just feels like they want to make historical JRPGs with like superpowers, which is an Assassin's Creed and alienates Assassin's Creed fans a lot of the time. Um, but yeah, I finished Odyssey. 7 out of 10 with the experience booster, probably a 5 out of 10 without it. One of the most beautiful game worlds I've ever seen, and that was on my not great computer. I was playing it on PC. So that's that. I also have started the journey to just finish all of the mainline Assassin's Creed games. I think I have like 3 left to beat. And once I'm done, my reward is for myself is whatever ends up being my favorite Assassin's Creed game, whatever that variation of like the Assassin's logo, basically, because each one is slightly different from game to game. Whichever one is my favorite, I'm gonna get a tattoo of it on my forearm.
There you go.
So that's the end goal.
Ross is falling into that trap. They always say once you get one tattoo, you can't stop.
I've only thought about getting tattoos since September when I got this one. I just have been trying to come up with designs. So yes, I again, I want my left arm to be black and gray realism with like stuff about my life, and then my right arm sleeve all color and just like stuff I like and that's made an impact on me. That's my goal. Half color, half black and white. But so I finished Odyssey. I started Valhalla, put in like 4 or 5 hours before I realized I need a break from open world Assassin's Creed because the worlds are too big and it's a pain and I need a break. So instead I went back and started Assassin's Creed 4, which I put like 15 hours into in a previous save file. But I wanted to start over because that had been a couple years ago. And Assassin's Creed 4 is widely regarded as one of the best in the series, along with like the Ezio trilogy. The main missions. There are so many tailing missions where you have to stay close enough within the circle to listen, but you can't get caught or else it's an instant loss. I hate it so much.
Yep.
I don't know why. I get why Assassin's Creed 4 is so beloved because Edward Kenway is charismatic and the ship stuff is really well done and cool, but the main missions, woof. But I'm going through it. So I'm on an Assassin's Creed journey this year, an Odyssey, if you will. So
an Odyssey to Valhalla.
An
From
Odyssey
Origins,
to,
an Odyssey to Valhalla.
So I actually, because I have the world's worst memory, I keep a Google Keep note of all the main series games as a checklist. So I have Black Flag, I have Rogue, which is a very short game, and then I have Syndicate, and I have Valhalla. Those are my
Syndicate.
4 that I have left.
Love Syndicate.
So
I hope you like that one.
I hope so too. Out of the 4 of Black Flag, Rogue, Syndicate, and Valhalla, Black Flag is definitely the most well regarded, and then probably Valhalla, then Syndicate, then Rogue. Syndicate and Rogue kind of interchangeable.
I heard Rogue. That was the PS3 360 one when
when Unity launched,
or when Unity launched.
Yeah.
I heard that one was actually pretty good.
It's
a lot of people I think said that was the better of the 2 at the time.
At launch, yeah, just because Unity was so broken. And it had an interesting premise where you play as an assassin turned Templar, but apparently the game doesn't do a lot with that as much as it could, where it just feels like you're an assassin fighting Templars, but it's just the labels are switched. But I'm excited to play through the rest of them to see whatever Assassin's Creed Rift is going to be, which apparently was another piece of DLC for Valhalla that they're spinning off into a full game. However much they change of that, I don't know. It's supposed to be a smaller experience in between to tide over until Assassin's Creed Infinity and the games as a service crap that will probably end up being full of microtransactions.
Yes, microtransaction is coming to Assassin's Creed.
Microtransaction.
You didn't say it wrong, but it's just every time, the more I hear it, the more I think microtransaction.
That's a potential title.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Assassin's Creed. I have been playing. I got the Ezio collection on Switch, so I have been playing through Assassin's Creed 2. Very curious to see how well it holds up. It is a game from 2009. Obviously, the visuals are dated. I'm shocked that it holds up as well as it does, to be honest. Some of the parkour still feels a little stiff because it was still very early on. But like the missions are fantastic. The side content is some of the best in the franchise in 2. It was
It
just
was still fresh back then, you know?
it was still fresh and it was focused. Like
Yeah.
Assassin Tombs, going through those, which are just like parkour challenges, were super fun. And there's a like good reward at the end. There's Templar bases that you can clear, and it's like, and then you get to the side content in like Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla, where it's just like this like forts over and over and over and over. It's just like, God, the game's got too big. And it's like, I understand the formula was getting stale and people were getting sick of it, but there's a fork when it comes to the Assassin's Creed trilogy or Assassin's Creed franchise when Unity hit. If Unity would have come out and wasn't broken, that was the evolution of the series. Like that game is to play that game, it's so smooth. The parkour is incredible. The open world, again, it's the first open world in an Assassin's Creed game that was 1-to-1 in size. The world was phenomenal. And I think the gameplay, in a lot of ways, the combat was improved. But since it was broken, they overcorrected, came out with Syndicate, which was still in development at the time, so it was still within kind of that core Assassin's Creed formula. And then they went full on RPG, which just like Bayek is one of the best characters in games, and that performance is one of the best in the history of the medium. But the game surrounding him and the side content is just what saves Origins is how interesting ancient Egypt is. Ancient Egypt is fascinating and mystical, even when it's not mystical, when it's just freaking ancient Egypt. But like, and seeing the like birth of the actual Brotherhood and that sort of thing for a longtime fan was really satisfying, even if it kind of under delivered on it, to be honest. And then Odyssey literally has nothing to do with Assassin's Creed at all. There's no hidden blades, no social stealth, no assassins. Slight mention at the beginning of the Templar Order. And then Valhalla, basically, it's a spoiler if you haven't played Valhalla. I got spoiled on the ending. But basically, like the hidden ones who are still the precursor to the Assassin's Order, they were called the Hidden Ones when Bayek formed them, and they're still that by the time of Valhalla. Basically, the assassins in the game offer Eivor, the main character, was like, you've seen what we do, you share our ideals, you should join the Brotherhood. And this is at the end of the game, and you've put 70 freaking hours into the main story. And Eivor basically says, nah, I like glory and looking cool, and then doesn't join the order. And that's it. And people were like, we built all of this up only for the main character, regardless of what choices you make, to say, no, I'm good. And it's just like, oh, Ubisoft's lost the thread with Assassin's Creed in a lot of ways. So I will always cherish the great games. I don't foresee what comes next is necessarily great. Anyway, Assassin's Creed ran over. Oh. Okay. Next, we'll need to go into a little bit of tech talk before I talk about what else I've been playing. So, like I said, I played Odyssey on my desktop, which has a GTX 1080. Is that right?
Yep.
GTX 1080. I could run Odyssey like mostly medium settings to get close to 60 frames per second. Do you remember what graphics card I had before the 1080?
You had an RTX 770.
Okay.
So the
So,
1080 was a big jump from that.
yep. Yeah. So I was playing Odyssey on the card and I was like, God, like I know how beautiful this game can look, and it's not looking great. And the Steam Deck, we're supposed to get that Q1, and then it got pushed back to Q2, and now for me it's estimated delivery is Q3. So then I started down the stupid rabbit hole of researching gaming laptops to see like where they were at this point, and spent about 5 hours researching before I texted Chris being like, I'm thinking of getting this gaming laptop. What do you think? And he goes, save it for the podcast. You're not going to buy a laptop before Wednesday. And then I bought it 2 hours later.
Yep.
Um, and so I ended up getting the Asus Zephyrus G15 with a 3070 laptop card, which
You
is
got
like
the
a
same one I have.
yeah, yeah,
You got the same laptop as me.
which is it's a 15-inch laptop coming from my 17-inch, but my 17-inch felt like it weighed about 15 pounds. This weighs about 4.5 pounds. It's very sleek. They tested it a lot. I told Chris about this last night. Still makes me a little nervous that some of the venting of the hot air goes right up against the screen, but obviously they stress test this, and I haven't heard about anyone having issues with it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I immediately turned off the RGB in the keyboard like a true gamer, and just put it
Changes so
on
much.
breathing white, pulsing back and forth, which I enjoy. And I proceeded to almost entirely fill the 1 terabyte NVMe that came installed on the laptop, prompting me.
You don't realize how small 1 terabyte
Yep.
is until you're filling it with modern video games.
Yep. Yep. So I have now spent more money I don't have and bought another 1 terabyte NVMe with a heatsink that Chris is going to help install when he comes here for PAX.
Yeah, it's the exact same setup I have, so it's going to 100% work.
Yep. So with that, I started to kind of try to put it through its paces because I've never had like a powerful gaming PC, really. I've always been like mid-range gaming PC in terms of power relative to the current game landscape.
When we upgraded your PC, that was pretty good at the time because the 10 series cards were still good and DLSS wasn't huge yet.
Yeah.
So, because you got the 3600X, I think, and then the 1080. So when we did that upgrade, that was a killer 1080p machine. It was just at the tail end of what that machine was going to be capable of.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if we took that 1080 out and slapped like a 3060 in there, you'd be right back up to 60 frames, 1080 easy. Like,
yeah. And
that's all we'll have to do eventually if you want to do that, is just slap a new GPU in there.
Yeah, and like my 17-inch Dell laptop had it has a 1060 Max Q card in it, which got me through like some basic stuff, but not a ton. So I immediately tried to install the most graphically intensive games I owned on Steam, which consisted of Control by Remedy and Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red. So with Control,
Ross, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to, because I never did the direct comparison from your old laptop to your new one.
Yeah.
GPU user benchmark is not the greatest site for this, but it puts it in plain kind of numbers.
Sure.
Your effective speed is plus 160%.
Cool. Yep.
The average performance is up almost 160%. The overclock score is 160. The value is 451%. Like,
and
it is so much better,
and it weighs so much less.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So I installed Control. It's a game I've started a couple times on PS4, but just never kind of pushed through. Kind of similar to The Witcher 3. So I thought, hey, let's just start from the top and adjust as needed. So I put it on max settings, all ultra settings, max ray tracing, everything. It's 60 smooth.
Because you said Valhalla, right?
Control.
Oh, Control. I'm sorry. Well, yes, Control, because that also has DLSS.
DLSS.
You're running that too.
Yeah.
Dude, DLSS is the biggest. It is what allows ray tracing to be so good, because you can actually run ray tracing without sacrificing frame rate, but it is also what allows a laptop 3070 to run a game like Control fully maxed out at 60.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't do that on a comparable AMD machine. if it
Mhm.
had an AMD GPU, because it just wouldn't work.
Yeah. So I've put a few hours into that. I know it's not the longest game. It takes like between 10 to 15 hours to finish. So I'm gonna probably put a big chunk into it this coming weekend
Did you
to
ever
get
finish
further.
Control?
I never did. No, I
Ooh,
only
I'm
got a few
excited
hours
for you to
in.
finish Control.
I know. I've had so I have YouTube Red because I watch a lot of YouTube.
Mhm.
Um, and I've had a video downloaded and saved in my downloaded section for 2 years now, which is the Remedy connected universe of Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and Control. And I've been
Man,
waiting until I beat Control.
I didn't realize that they rhymed up until Control. Alan Wake, Quantum Break.
Oh, me neither. Yeah.
Man, you just said it in a way I was like, man, if only they had kept that thread going.
Yeah. I've been that's like an hour and a half long video that's been saved on my phone for 2 years because I haven't freaking finished Control yet. I'm going to do that now. That game is so good. I think the first time I played it, I got spooked. I'm not a spooky boy, and there's some spooky stuff in that
That
game.
game, dude, that game can be like really nuts at some points. Like
Yeah.
there's only one boss I fought that was like really annoying just because
Mhm.
of the arena. But like that stuff is so crazy just because it's like that, it's like that SCP containment kind of thing
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like the for those who somehow don't know, if you're not familiar with Control, it's basically like it's all about like that idea that there are like real world objects that are like either spiritually or like like they are enhanced with like external elements that make them like borderline magical, like
Otherworldly, like other dimension magic
yeah,
or like other powers.
that
Yeah.
like when you write it like I think it was kind of the thing with Alan Wake. The concept with that is like what he was typing for his book became reality.
I love that
So
story.
he
Oh,
had an object
yeah.
that was making his reality his story. And it's the idea of like, I can have this pen, like, it's kind of like the idea of like Death Note.
Yeah.
Like Death
Yeah,
Note would be the
exactly. Yeah.
perfect example of that. Every name I write in this notebook, they have a heart attack. Like
Yeah.
that's the power of these objects. And there are objects that like if you don't look at like if you're not watching them 24/7, if you do not maintain complete eye contact on this object, it will like teleport and murder you.
Yeah. Or like
All it wants to do is kill you, but it can't as long as you look at it.
yeah, like very early on you come across this like string for a light that you have to pull it a few times and then you basically teleport into this motel
And
where
this
you have
mo-
to where you have to search for evidence and then you like look at like paperwork around it and you just read like uh this light string has appeared in the bureau. It has um it has disappeared and reappeared in various places throughout the building. Proceed with caution, and it's like it's just so like it's dripping with mystery. All of these
And
things.
what's so cool is like that's not even the best part because the motel it brings you to is like a real motel, like in the middle of nowhere, but it's also like this hub for like these interdimensional kind
It's
of gateways
it,
that take you in and out of the bureau, and
it's
like
yeah,
it's so
it's
cool.
it's very Twin Peaksy in a lot
I
of ways on that front.
For me, I think the biggest problem with Control, and I don't want to get into too much because I know you're playing through it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the thing that like the biggest issue I have with Control is the her main plot line, because everything she's
Mm-hmm.
doing in Control is really cool, but the more it focuses on her actual objectives is
Mm-hmm.
when the
Mm-hmm.
game kind of just becomes a little more ho hum.
I could see that. Yeah,
But like
yeah.
like the idea of like I think they're making a Control sequel, and I would love the idea of just like here's Jesse Faden. I'm almost positive, and they're also making like a co-op game set in the Control universe, which I'm really excited for. But
Yeah,
like,
yep. Control 2 is happening alongside a new multiplayer
and
spinoff.
it's a bigger budget game too. They said,
Yeah,
but like, I just want a Control game where it's like here's Jesse Faden, and we're just looking at some weird, crazy shit.
yeah,
I just want that game where it's
yeah,
just like, yo, like, look how like unbelievable this world is, and like, it's so cool. I love that game so much.
yeah. So I'm very excited to continue going on it, and I would have gotten further in it, further, whatever.
Oh,
Um,
I heard about this. So
yes,
farther is physical distance.
Okay, so I was right the first time
Further
when I said
is
further,
yes, further
like
is more
progression
like yeah,
or
further is
time or
more of
something.
like an intangible. Farther is physical.
Gotcha. So I
I
would
learned that on
have.
the tech pod.
Oh, nice. So I would have played a lot more Control if it wasn't for the surprise that was Cyberpunk 2077. So I played it when it first came out on PC. Again, I was running my desktop with a 1080, and it ran it like a potato. Even on low settings, it was not good. So I stopped and was just like, I've heard it's broken and buggy anyway. I will just wait and check it out later, maybe when I get a new graphics card. So this was one of the two games I installed to kind of just push the laptop and see what I could do. So for Cyberpunk, I can't get everything maxed out. I can get most things on high with some light ray tracing and keep it at 60. But dude, I'm obsessed with Cyberpunk. Holy crap. I'm really, really liking that game.
I tried it around like the beginning of the year. I
Mm-hmm.
finally like booted up the last time, like just when they announced like all the next gen stuff, and they were like, okay, like we're really gonna do it, and they
Mm-hmm.
said all this stuff is already in the PC version, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this game, and
Yeah.
it didn't grab me,
Yeah.
um, and like I wanted to like it, like I was sitting there watching like all the commercials and stuff in the
Mm-hmm.
elevator, and like I'm like, all right, this stuff's pretty cool, but like the moment to moment gameplay just never like hooked me, and I want to go back and try it again, but it was definitely a situation where I played Cyberpunk and I was like, if I never play this game again, whatever. For the
Yeah.
record, though, I do have it installed on my PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
There's a trial, and I want to play it there strictly because I heard they have one of the best implementations of the dual sense.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Also, I got my Cosmic Purple controller.
Congratulations,
Um,
sir.
I'm very dude. This thing's nice, and you know what? Have you heard that they changed the springs in the
Oh, no.
triggers? They're
No.
slightly stronger.
Oh,
So a lot of people are believing that the new controllers are going to have greater longevity.
huh. Interesting.
Also, this purple is just very good. It's very nice. Um, but I've heard that they have like a first party level implementation of the of like utilizing the dual sense, of
Interesting.
like how the different every gun feels different when you pull the trigger, the vibrations all do it. Like apparently they just really wanted to impress Sony because Sony delisted them, and I'm wondering if they were
Yeah.
just like, "Yo, we don't want to burn this bridge, so we're gonna do whatever we have to."
Yeah.
But like, I still like, I want to try it just for that, and if it's really that good, I might just play Cyberpunk on my PS5.
Did you ever get to Keanu Reeves?
No, I didn't get
Okay.
that far. I did like the first mission that was in like that demo where you find like the lady in the bathtub.
Yep. Yep.
I did that, and that was okay. Also, driving on mouse and keyboard is no bueno.
Oh, well,
So
yeah.
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 So like, if I play it again, I'm probably gonna have a controller hooked up too, and if I have to
Mhm.
drive, I'm just gonna pull that.
um, yeah. So I'm in Act 2 now. I have encountered the Keanu, and he is now very much involved
Mhm.
in the story, and he is breathtaking.
No, you're
Um,
breathtaking.
um, but yeah, just having the game run so well, and it's a game where I'm barely fast traveling. Like the setting is just so beautiful to me,
It
and
is. It looks good.
a lot of the side characters are really growing on me to the point where I'm making a point to do every side mission I find because I just like the world so much. Um, and
So
again,
hates
good.
all the side stuff in Assassin's Creed. Doesn't want
Yes.
to interact with it.
Yes.
Cyberpunk wanted a break from open world games.
Yep.
Decides Cyberpunk is the game I should be playing. Interacts with everything.
Yeah. Well, to be
No,
clear,
I'm not really making fun of you.
no,
It's
I
just
know, I
funny.
know, I know. To be clear, I wasn't planning on like playing it for a long time. I
You
just
wanted
wanted
to
to
tech
test the
demo it.
laptop.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just wanted to do the tech demo and just be like, oh, wow, this laptop runs this game really good. Close
Yeah.
shut.
Yeah. And then, much like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I really just care about the story and the world. So I just put it on easy, and it's way better.
Oh man,
Um,
I thought about doing that. I'm playing on normal, I think.
yeah, it's just like it's way better.
Yeah. It's not like
So
we're reviewing it, so it doesn't
no,
matter.
no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Um, but I think I've put like 10 hours into that game so far. I'm in Act Two, and it's just now, since a lot of the bugs have been ironed out and a lot of the issues have been ironed out. In the 10 hours, the only glitch I've come across is that I knocked a guy out and like shoved him into like a crate to hide the body, and his satchel stayed behind and was just hanging in midair. And that's the only glitch I've come across, and I can still
I
loot the
had I
satchel.
had one where I couldn't pick up certain objects.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was like a bunch of money on the ground and I just couldn't interact with it in any scenario.
Yeah.
And then sometimes stuff would float, like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Yeah.
the only two things I really noticed.
Yeah. Um, but like from the the driving, which I really actually like in that game, to again the side characters, Victor Vector. Again, I don't know anything about how the story ends up, but all I know is that Victor Vector is my guy, and like one of the first side quests is like after the after that kind of demo quest, when you when you plug into the woman to get like her bio readings, like you get a little bit of a virus like on your internal chip
Yep.
or whatever, and you go to Victor Vector to get basically a new eye installed, and it's like top of the line from like the best corporation. And so one of your side quests is to like pay him back, and it's like $21,000. And at that point, you have like a couple hundred. And I was like, it is my mission to pay this man back. He is taking care of me. He is dead. Um, so boy, I prioritized it, and I got that 21 grand, and I paid him off. But like all the fixers who are like the middlemen who give you the jobs, like they're all so interesting. And Jackie, I love Jackie.
Jackie's pretty cool.
As a sidekick. And then my brief time with Keanu so far is really good. Like I didn't know how much he was going to be utilized, but he's in there a lot. You'll be walking through the environment, or like, and you'll just see him like pop up on the side, and you'll just look over, and he'll just be there, and then he'll be gone. Um, or like when you're in the middle of a mission and you're like walking around a mission area, he'll just like pop around the corner and just like start talking shit at you because that's all he does to you. um, his implementation is fascinating, um, and yeah, it's like CD Projekt Red really screwed up in a lot of ways with Cyberpunk, from the technical glitches on PC to the still unplayable old gen versions that will never be playable, basically at this point. Um, but under all of the crap, and I found this exact same thing with Assassin's Creed Unity. Like after so much time, it's an incredible game that kind of lives up so far. Again, I'm only on Act Two. I'm only like 10 hours in, but so far lives up to the pedigree of that studio and the work that they've put out previously. I'm glad that, unlike Anthem, they committed to it and are doing updates. They just had a free 25 gig update where they added apartments that you can rent out. Um, I think new cars you can buy, like a ton of new content. They've overhauled like the loot system to make it more intuitive. They've updated the map to make it easier to read. Like they're committed to. They put so much money into that game that they aren't gonna let it die.
They can't
Um,
afford to. They have to
they
do right by the
yeah,
people who bought it.
yeah, and it's like once I get to the end, my opinion might change, but Cyberpunk is definitely, and they still have like the multiplayer update that's supposed to come at some point. That's still as part of
And they're
their
making
roadmap.
DLC. They confirmed
Yeah,
with the Witcher announcement because they're still using the Red engine for the
for
DLC
Cyberpunk.
expansion
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Cyberpunk.
which makes sense. Um, it's just like Cyberpunk, I think, could be the next Final Fantasy 14, No Man's Sky type of comeback story for a project as big and hyped up as it was. I think it could happen. I think a lot of the issue, unlike those, actually, no, not unlike those. a lot of the issues were with higher ups and a lot of practices in the studio in terms of like bonuses and not paying them out to anyone other than like the top management, that sort of thing. But in 2022, I will say Cyberpunk 2077 is a fantastic game, and one that, as someone who has open world fatigue, I just put 35 hours into Odyssey, which could have been 60, and I don't want to touch Valhalla for a while. It's winning me over in ways I didn't think it would, because some of the like cyberpunk type aesthetic doesn't work for me, like the body horror, like one
Yeah.
of the gangs where they just take out their eyes and just put like friggin' cybernetic eyes like into their head that are like spider eyes, and you can see like where like the skin was cut out to put the new optics in. Like that part grosses me out. But what's the history of this gang? There are bounties that the police put out on specific enemies in the game that you can capitalize on. I was in a story mission and I was scanning all the enemies in the room, and one of them was like bounty. You could take them out for cash. And it's like there are all these little things that pop up that just make you want to look over there and look over there. It's the good Bethesda syndrome of, oh, there's this thing that's happening over there. The main story's right there, but let me just go check this out. Oh, and then another thing, and another thing, and another thing. And
then you forget there was a story at all.
Yeah, and the main story itself is actually really good. It's still kind of in its like infancy in terms of kind of the huge scope of it, but the trail of breadcrumbs that it's been leaving has been made me itch for more, to the point where I was like, maybe I could get out of work an hour early today to put in an hour before the podcast when I get home, just because I kind of want to do the next story mission. It's like that kind of game for me. But that's all I'll say about it. I'm sure I'll have an update on next month's episode. Just briefly, I've also put a lot of time into Portal 2 because Portal 2 is one of the best games of all time. Just playing through the campaign again. I just got to all the Cave Johnson stuff, which is phenomenal.
He's so good.
He's so good. And yeah, that's kind of it. I've dabbled in just a bunch of other stuff. But I'm very happy with my purchase of the Zephyrus. I'm sad for my credit card, but this is a gaming laptop that will last me for several years. And as Chris has said a few times, with DLSS, has probably a longer lifespan than it normally would otherwise in terms of staying relevant for a lot of games. So as someone who doesn't like to drop $1,600 every other year for a new piece of equipment, I'm very happy about that.
I feel attacked. It's not usually 1,600.
But yeah, that's my kind of long-winded what I've been playing. Cyberpunk is a revelation, not Assassin's Creed Revelations, which is another good game. Anyway, I'm done. I need to drink water. I talk too much.
I'm gonna run through a couple.
Also Destiny, which you'll touch on. We played Witch Queen.
Yes, yeah. We'll get there. I want to talk about something gaming adjacent real quick.
Okay, sure.
So when we weren't recording at the beginning of March, I was watching Arcane
I still
on
need
Netflix.
to watch it.
That show cleaned up at awards.
Yeah.
I just have to say, like, I've never been more tempted to play League of Legends again in my life, and I won't do it. But boy, did they capitalize on that. Everybody should go watch Arcane. Like,
I need to make a point of
that show is just incredible. It is gritty and mature. The animation is great. It is. I just remember like moments where I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, because it's the story of, Vi and Jinx.
Vi's your girl.
I know. And I'm just sitting there at some points and I'm just like, oh, this all could have been avoided. I'm just sitting here literally like this. I'm like, this all could have been avoided. Oh my God. I'm like, this all could have been avoided. I'm like, oh my god. Watching this happen and watching this spiral out of control. And I'm like, it didn't have to be this way.
Oh wow, I didn't know. Huh? I didn't know Haley Steinfeld voiced Vi.
It is an all-star cast.
Wow.
All-star.
Huh?
It's weird
Yeah.
though, because the guy who voices Braum voices a character, and it's just weird because I'm like, you're Braum, but you're not Braum. What if Braum is in this show? But it's so good, and they already announced season 2, and then Riot just made a big investment in the development, like the production company of that show.
Mhm.
So hopefully that means more League of Legends projects in the future. But yeah, you guys need to watch Arcane. It is so good. So good. Not much more to say on Elden Ring. We talked about that in the news portion.
It's
But
I talk about another game I'm very excited to run on my laptop.
what, Elden Ring?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's going to run well.
I
I
know.
mean, Elden Ring, well, let me put this in perspective. It's going to run well, aside from the quirks of Elden Ring,
Sure,
because Elden
sure.
Ring doesn't run perfect on anything. Uh, unless you're playing the PS4 Pro version of the game on a PS5. Then it
Perfect.
runs perfectly. um I finally finished the tutorial and stuff and Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, nice, nice.
I enjoyed my second session more than my first one. I'm still not hooked on that game yet though. It
Mhm.
has yet, like the first Horizon, I'm telling you, even when I was replaying it at the beginning of this year to prep for Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn is such an exceptional, exceptional video game. I love that game so much. And picking it up and playing it on PC was just like, is like I never put it down. It was just, it's so good to play. It feels incredible. And there's just something about Forbidden West that just does, like, even the opening sections of Zero Dawn feel better than the same sections in Forbidden West.
Hmm.
And it's just, maybe it's just how the enemies react. They did get rid of like the whistle, so you can't just whistle everything into bushes and stab it.
Yeah, I've used
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah, but which is fine. I've adapted to that, but like, there's just something about it, and it's like it's not fatigue because I really enjoyed. I didn't finish Zero Dawn on PC, so if anything, I just got warmed up. But it's just like it just doesn't. There's something about it that just doesn't feel quite right. Um, and it just hasn't kind of sunk its claws into me yet. And like I plan
Mhm.
on going back, but it's just like it's something that's just it's not at the top of my list. Oh, pardon me. I have been playing Gran Turismo 7,
Nice.
which is fun. It's Gran Turismo is very weird because it's like very like it's very simmy and stuff like that, and it's very fun. I've actually been doing a lot of like they have like these musical races that like basically it's just you race around a track for the length of a song and you see if you can get a certain mileage for awards. And I've been doing that a lot, and it's really fun. And it's so dumb. And
Nice.
then I just love afterward watching the replay because that's when they put on all the ray tracing and stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
just like watching it, and it's like, god damn, like that game can just look jaw-droppingly gorgeous. Like there are honest to god times where it's just like I want to just show this to people and just be like, okay, here's a real car. There's a real car and two Gran Turismo cars. Figure it out.
Right. Right.
And just see if they can figure it out. Because I don't think they could. I genuinely don't believe to the untrained eye you could tell the difference. And like I was looking through, they have like this kind of social media aspect to it where people can share like these screenshots and stuff.
Mhm.
And there are just some incredible, like, dude, I cannot the minute details. You can see the individual LEDs in the taillights.
Of course you can.
And it's just like, dude, but you see it in these screenshots and you're just like, holy shit.
Polyphony.
Like, holy shit, this looks so good. I could just sit there and scroll through these images all day. Somebody made a Samus racing suit.
Oh,
Like,
nice. Nice.
Nat has his Pikachu, Mini Cooper. But like, dude, some of these screenshots, like they get these shots at night and you get like the, kind of like the depth of field effect, like the lights
Mhm.
that kind of square off a little bit in the distance because they're not like, they got like that like bokeh effect and stuff. And it's just like when you got the focus on the car, you got the reflections, the way the lights light up the track and stuff. It's sensational.
Yeah.
Like it is a true next gen experience,
Yeah.
and it is just I race so I can watch my race again.
Uh,
I play it so I can spectate it,
yeah,
and it is just incredible.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're generally not a huge sim racing guy. Is there like a career mode in there,
So it's
or
just like the old Gran Turismo games. They actually
oh,
brought
the
it back
licenses
to
and
the
stuff?
basics. Yeah, so you can do the
Oh, okay,
license. The licenses is my least favorite part of it. But
yeah,
like they gave everybody a bunch of credits because of the server downtime. So I got a million
okay,
credits. So I spent 300,000 of them on a Ford GT40.
sure,
And then it was great. So like one of the first races I unlocked through the licenses, it was like a bunch of like Mini Coopers and stuff like that, but like from the 70s,
yeah.
and there was no restrictions. So I brought my Ford GT into the race. And so you got like a bunch of like old
And
Volkswagens and
you
like
just
the buses and shit. And so here's my GT. I'm like,
and
just
and you basically,
it wasn't even a race.
yeah, it's you were Will
I was
Smith,
on a
and
nice
the Mini Coopers were Chris Rock.
I was in a nice Sunday drive and I crossed the finish line. I was like, oh, right. It was a race. Um,
So do you
there is
foresee yourself
something
playing a lot of Turismo 7,
I don't think I'm
or
gonna play it a lot, but it's
mhm,
gonna be a game I keep coming back to. Like,
okay,
I'm gonna
yeah,
boot it up, every couple times, a couple times a month, do some races. There's there's this one the tracks, dude, like there's this one Tokyo track, and you can do one of the music races with it, and it's a track that has Idris Elba on it. And so you just hear Idris Elba like rapping, and it's just like, all right,
sure,
I'm here for this. They have like the first one. I had to like find it on YouTube Music. They have like it was like the classics or something. It was but like hold on, let me see if I can find the track. It was not uploads, YouTube Music. Where did I add? Hooked on Classics, parts 1 and 2, the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra.
I thought you were gonna say Hooked on Phonics.
No,
Yep,
Hooked on
continue.
Classics. But it's like just a bunch of like classic music, like just kind of strung together. But I'm
Mhm,
just sitting there on the track and like the clock ticks to the beat. And
right.
so like I'm just sitting there racing and I'm like dun, 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 and I'm just like, yeah. And my car's going like 50 miles an hour because it's some old like fucking whatever. But I'm just like, all right, yeah, let's go. I'm like, that's another pass. Let's go, let's go. And I always fall just short. The record is like 5.41 miles. I hit 5.37 every time. And I'm so mad. But I keep doing it because I'm like, all right, at least I get to listen to the song. And I cannot tell you, there is something that like horn when Gran Turismo is starting up, when it's counting down, they're like wah, 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 bing. And then like there's just
Mm.
something about that I'm like, okay, I hear that. I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm ready to race now. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, wah, wah, let's go. I don't know why it's just Gran Turismo is just this like complete experience, and it's like in a way that like other racing games just don't get it. Like Gran Turismo, like the sounds and the feel of the cars in Gran Turismo are just like I never got that from Forza. I never got that from the other sim racers. Like Gran Turismo is just on their specific brand of bullshit, and I'm eating it up.
Yeah.
And it's just something about it. It just feels momentous. Like I'm playing it, and I'm like, yo, Gran Turismo. Like Gran Turismo is kind of like when it comes out, it's just like you gotta play it. Um, there's a huge problem with earning credits and microtransactions and stuff like that.
Mm,
Michael
okay.
Transaction coming back again. He's a producer. Just put it in the credits.
Michael Transaction coming back at you with a
Yeah,
sick beat.
coming back at you with the credits you need for the prices you don't want to pay.
Michael Transaction sounds like the friend of the DJ from Burnout Paradise. Sounds like his like college roommate who lived in his basement.
what is it? DJ Atomica and
Yeah,
Michael
DJ Atomica.
Transaction.
Yeah. Oh my god. Title. Hold on. DJ Atomica and Michael Transaction.
Oh my
That's
god.
the actual title.
All right. Goddamn. But yeah, I don't know. I like it's Gran Turismo is really cool. I want to play more of it. But it's not like I'm not a destination racing game kind of guy. I don't
Hmm.
just boot up every day. I know Nat has been playing the hell out of that game.
Yeah.
Like nonstop. He loves it, and I don't blame him. Like it's great, and I definitely plan to spend more time with it. Like if you want, like Gran Turismo 7 is like absolutely the showcase game where if somebody's like, "Yo, how's the PS5 look?" You just smile and you're like, "Check this shit out.
Yeah.
Watch this,
Yeah.
yo." Watch this, and then you watch a replay, and you're just like, "Look at the lights! Look at them!
All of the lights.
All of the lights! Look, you can count the LEDs. It's perfect. This looks better than my car." It's like, I fuck my car. Look at this. Man, it is goddamn. It is nuts. Before we get into the Destiny, I made a startling discovery the other day on my
Oh,
iPad.
jeez.
I was on Apple Arcade. Oh, and we can also talk about Monster. No, we touched on Monster Hunter. We're good on that. I was on Apple Arcade, and I was like, uh, let me see if there's anything new. And I made an unfortunate discovery.
Oh boy.
Mini Motorways is on Apple Arcade.
Oh well, yeah.
And
There it
so now I
goes.
can take my disappointment on the go. And so I played Mini Motorways again, which, if you weren't listening a few months ago, was the bane of my existence because it is a great game that just ends abruptly because it's out of my control. And I hate it.
It doesn't still hold true for Apple Arcade.
Yes. Yes, it does. Maybe I'm just bad. I don't know, but like it's such a fun little charming, like it's like a soothing game, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna connect the little paths, and oh, this is nice. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, all right, they're stuck. I gotta fix this traffic jam. I need it to be next week so I can hopefully get some highways so I can release the congestion. It just popped up at the. How are you gonna be all the way across town? All the red houses are over here. How am I supposed to get them to you? What are you even doing? Who's planning this? I lost.
The life of an urban planner.
Yeah, but it's like urban planner, and it's just like, hey, so here's all the community and shit, and all these people, these people like Walmart, and so we put a Walmart right here, cool. And then these new people moved in, and they like Target. Oh, Target's across 3 rivers, and you don't have any bridges. Get fucked, loser. And I'm just like, why? How am I supposed to do this?
Oh god.
God damn it. I have never liked the game so much that I hate it so much. Put that on the box. It's like one of those things. It's my favorite thing. I hate it. It's my favorite game,
Yep.
Oh, Destiny 2. The Witch Queen.
The Witch Queen.
Cue the ominous music. Witch Queen is out. The day 1 raid has been completed. Ross and I played through the campaign. The Witch Queen is very good. I think when we last recorded, Witch Queen wasn't out yet.
I don't believe so.
No. Your mileage will vary with the Witch Queen, based on how involved in Destiny you are. If you are someone like Ross who's coming back and being like, hey, I just want to kind of experience the story, it is definitely a story that has been built up over the last year to kind of culminate in this. So for me, I was just like, holy shit, that was everything I could have asked for and more. Ross, it sounds like you were not quite as, over the hill about it, but
yeah, I think like I'm into Destiny lore. Like I enjoy the lore a lot. I don't keep up with it like season to season. So I think the big reveal at the end of Witch Queen was really game changing. I feel like if I didn't really know much of that background lore, I feel like that DLC would have fallen very flat. Um, just because I wouldn't have the pre-existing knowledge of a lot of the kind of fundament and history of the Hive and that sort of thing. But I had a lot of fun playing the campaign, for sure, and the mission design was like varied enough to keep me interested the whole time.
Yeah, I definitely think it's their best campaign since the Red War.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Which
think it's
which
better.
no one can play.
It's
R.I.P.
I still think it's better paced than the Red War. Um, like the thing with Witch Queen is Witch Queen has a very good pacing, and it doesn't require you to do fluff in between. It doesn't require you to go to this destination and do a bunch of bullshit for 2 hours and then go do the next mission and then do that again on a new destination. Witch Queen just kind of lets you bang it out and you finish one mission and you can launch the next one and you're in and you're doing it.
There's no
Um,
level gating,
well, there's still
kind of,
power requirements.
but it
Um,
wasn't even that bad
yeah,
because I
and
just jumped right back in.
yeah, and I was overpowered anyway, so it was great. And
Yeah.
I was just like, Ross is like, I'm dead. I'm like, don't worry, I got this.
Yep. And it introduced glaives, which are just pointy sticks you hit things with, which are
Glaives are
great.
pretty good. Glaives are good. Um, that raid though, I managed to get the day one. I got it an hour before reset. Uh, it was exhausting, but that raid is something. That day one experience was really good, and I really actually enjoyed it in spite of how difficult it was. Overall, I think the raid is really good, and I think it's a really good, like, the boss. I still think you should try if you can bring yourself to do it and get a little bit more power. I think the raid is definitely worth playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. It's really unique. It has like some interesting mechanics and stuff, but it's also just like the end of it is just like it is a unique enemy that we've never seen before, that we'll never see again because he's dead. But it's this incredible moment of just like this guy, and he's just like, he's, do you know who I work for? He's like, do you know who I work for? He's like, there's a reason I'm here. And he just like, the man owns the room. He's just got
Mm-hmm.
like a swagger. He walks around, hands behind his back, and he just kicks you in the face.
Yeah.
Just because he can. He just walks up and boom, the kick is good. And like, he's just like arrogant the whole time. He's like taunting you and like talking shit. He's just like, he's like, you've served your purpose. Like, you walk into the boss room and you run up to him. He's like, you served your purpose. Now it's time to be done with you. And it's just like, oh, okay. And like the music that plays is like, it's like a twist on like the darkness theme, but it's like aggressive in a way that like it hasn't been, because it's your first real direct confrontation. That's what's great about it. It's your first real direct confrontation with an agent of the darkness. It's
Mm.
not Aramis. It's not Stasis. It's not this or that. It's not a Cabal or a Fallen or anything like that. You are confronting the true enemy of Destiny.
Right.
Finally. And this is the like kind of right hand man. And there are stories about this guy, about Rolk. Like, one of the encounters, there's just this giant bone. You know what the Leviathan is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
He
thing from
went
Titan,
down.
right?
No, from Fundament.
Oh,
So
right.
Titan
Yeah.
has one, but the one on Fundament. So basically, like the worm gods that were down there, they
Mm.
were basically protected by the Leviathan. He went down and just ripped out one of its bones.
Huh.
He went into the deep, and the Leviathan's like, yo, I'm not letting you by. And he's like, whatever, rips out its bone and then put it on display on his ship. Rolk's the type of guy who the witness was like, hey, wipe out all your people. And he was like, thank you. And then did it.
Yeah.
He thanked him for it. Like the ultimate like genocide guy out here. And it's just like, now he's the boss. And I'm like, shh.
He's the captain now.
This is incredible. And like the raid all takes place in a pyramid ship, and it's so cool. It's like a world into itself. And like it's so nuts and so great. And like I can't stop playing Witch Queen, and there's so many other games I should be playing. But I'm trying to get materials to craft these guns, and like now I've got like my loadout set up, and I'm like, okay, I crafted this gun. Now I got these raid guns, so now I'm crafting this gun. I just got this other gun, so now I'm crafting that. And I'm like, okay, and then I'm doing all these activities, and I got all like I'm doing everything, and I can't stop playing because it's just like it's so fun, and I'm just going around and I'm doing all the things I like to do, and I'm just shooting my guns, and I'm doing missions, and I'm getting stuff that lets me get more guns to shoot, and then do more stuff over here, and it's so good. It's
It's
just so
Destiny.
good, and it's the best the PVE in my opinion has felt ever. the
Yeah.
the throne world is an incredible destination that just looks and sounds amazing. The music for Witch Queen, like it's like not like, it's not like nothing you've ever heard in Destiny, but it's like it's so unique, and like it just stands on its own as like such like its soundtrack is so like separate from the rest of the game,
Hmm.
and like it is at times like very like subtle, and then it's also like got the regular like bombastic like sounds, but it's also got like these eerie overtones, and like there's so much going on. It's so like deep and so well themed to the content compared to the other stuff. Like Witch Queen just feels like such a theme,
Right. Right.
and everything about it is perfect for that theme. Like it's so good. I love, man, I'm so excited for like what they're gonna do. Even the seasonal story is so good, and
Yeah.
like the seasonal story deals a lot in like the alliance between the Vanguard and the Cabal, like between like with Keitel. So basically, like Keitel has her Cabal, and we're in an alliance now. And that first mission of the campaign, we kind of threaten that alliance a little bit, but she's like, you know what, whatever, we can look past this. um but like it's so much of it, and like there's conversations that happen in like the psyops missions, and like they talk about like these fallen guardians, and she's like, for our fallen, we erect like statues and stuff like to honor them. And somebody says to her, I think it's like Zavala is like, who's going to do that if all the Cabal are dead? And she's just like, you will. And it's just like, it's so cool, like to have friends. And like the newest version of that, the one on the moon, these ships are flying in and shit, and you're just like, Guardian, you've got backup coming. And a drop pod brings a Brachus, and he's on your team, and you're just fighting with this Cabal dude. And it's so cool.
We've gotten deep into Destiny, folks.
I
We're deep
love
in the
it so
Destiny hole
much,
right now.
dude. No, that's pretty much it. But it's so cool. Like, dude, here's these enemies we've been fighting against for so long, and like now they're dropping as our allies on the battlefield. And I'm like, yo, like, how long until the House of Light is sending reinforcements? Like, how long until like we're doing these missions, and like Misrax comes out and he's just like, Guardian, we got to do this. I'm gonna back you up. And it's not just a voice on the radio; it's a dude on the field. And like
Hmm.
you're fighting alongside these races you've been fighting against for 5 years. Like to me, that's such a great like fulfillment moment. And like the lines are being drawn. The line in the sand is being drawn for who is our friend and who is our foe. And our friends are getting together, and we're fighting together to like to fight the darkness. We finally are on the course that Destiny has been building towards since 2014. And we're finally gonna see it. We're gonna see what Destiny can really be. I'm so excited. And the season, like with how good the seasonal storytelling was this season, and like knowing that the next couple seasons, that's what it's gonna be. I'm so excited because I'm like, what are they gonna do next? It's not about just the yearly expansions anymore. It's like, what are they gonna do next season? How are they gonna top this? Because
Hmm.
they've got a plan, and I just want to see it, man. I just want to see it so bad. But Destiny is so good right now. And if you haven't liked Destiny before, it's not a situation where you're going to jump out and be like, okay, well, now I'm obviously going to love this game now. It's still Destiny. If you didn't love it before, you're not going to love it now. But there's so much to love about Destiny now that if you're like a lapsed player and you're like, I don't know if it's worth it, I really think Witch Queen is worth it. And you would be a better tell of that as somebody who came back for it, Ross. I don't know
Yeah,
if you share that opinion.
I think if you're a lapsed player, I think you will be very, very lost as to everything that's going on, depending on how long ago you've been lapsed. Um, Especially if you're not kind of into the lore in and of itself. I don't think Destiny is a new player friendly game at all in its
I
current
agree.
state, which I, I think at some point it would help to be that at least a little more than
They
it
have
is. But
like it's not perfect. They have like a timeline on the map that like
mhm.
basically explains like what the seasons were. So like you can look at it and you can look at Seasons of the Lost and be like, oh, Marisov locked down Savathun and did this. You can look at Season of the Splicer and like it gives you overviews of kind of what's been happening. But I really think Destiny needs like there needs to be like a 2 to 3 minute video there of like,
Yeah, or
play this video and you can see the events of Season of the Lost narrated by like this one's by Marisov because it was her season, or this one's by, Saint 14 because it was his season, or whatever.
yeah, and it's part of my problem with games as a service is that you can't go back to the beginning of the Destiny 2 storyline and play through the whole thing to get caught up. It's just literally not possible, with the content vault and kind of how just the game is structured, which is kind of my biggest issue with it, I think, because I would love to go back and play the Red War campaign, because I had such a good time with it, and people can't kind of experience Destiny 2 from the beginning, which like I don't think is inherently a bad thing. Like it's a living, evolving world, but at the same time, it makes it much less palatable for new players to come in who want to know everything. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah. I guess the best thing to say is, if you're not sure, wait for a sale. And, if you can get it for like $30, jump on that. I mean, the expansion, I think by itself is only $40. Um, which I mean, I think is still a good deal for, what's in there. But yeah, I think, with all the like the reworks that they're going to be doing on all like the classes and stuff, um, it's hard because I'm an invested player and I love it, and obviously I'm very excited. But I think I would tell people it's worth it. We've had a lot of lapsed players that I've known that have come back for Witch Queen and have been very much invested in it again. People who like weren't in, they missed seasons last year, but they still like came in and they were just like, okay, if you have like if you're the type of person who hits the major expansions every year, I think for the most part you can pick up kind of what the game is doing, even if you haven't been involved with the seasons. But this expansion, I think more than the others, has like a really good kind of complete beginning to end story, and I think it does enough to kind of keep even new players. I think there's enough breadcrumbs there of things that like I was already aware of, and I was just like, okay, I can definitely see how this would be helpful for a new player.
Mm-hmm.
um I think there's enough there. And stuff like fundament and like how the throne world's constructed isn't necessary information for your enjoyment, but I think the core of the story of Savathun and how she acquired the light is very well conveyed through all of that. And I think it has a very satisfactory ending.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big after credits reveal I think was really good. With the reveal of the witness. It's all over the internet at this point. That it's not a spoiler. It's not like I'm telling you it, but you get to see the face of the witness finally, and you get to see the face of the big bad. And now we know the one pulling the strings, and like that to me is just so exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that end rant for Destiny. God, otherwise, I don't think. Oh, I did play something else. It was very brief. I'm not going to get a ton into it, but I have been hearing people raving about Tunic.
Oh yeah, me
I
too.
installed
Me too.
Tunic. I played it on my Series X. Um, That game is kind of tough. Like the first couple enemies I was fighting, they're like little blobs. I'm like, oh, this is kind of a little hack and stuff. And then like the next enemy I saw was just like they're attacking through my attacks. Unlike the slimes, I'm just like, oh shit, no. I'm like running around fighting for my dear life. I'm like, no, dodge, god damn it, no. Um, that is a game. You want to talk about a game that doesn't tell you anything? Its prompts are in a different language,
Perfect.
a made up runic language. And so occasionally you'll get these pages that like tell you some things in plain English, like, oh, this button does this, but like it's all interpreted. So like you pick up an item and it comes up with the runic language. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, yes. And then it acquires the item. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just like hoping I'm doing all the right things. And like, it took me forever just to find a weapon. Initially, when the game started, I couldn't fight anything. And I found a stick. And now the stick is my best friend because it's the only way I can fight. But like, you know, that game, you just kind of wake up and like you go and there's like this other dimension and there's like you're like this little fox and then there's this big fox lady. I think it's a lady. And she's trapped in this cell and she's like punching it. And there's like the colors and everything. And it doesn't make any sense yet, but it makes perfect sense in a game that doesn't explain anything. Like, but like it doesn't explain anything in a way that's like kind of cool. And I know that's maybe a cop out, but like I'm really interested. Like that's what kind of sold me on it. Is like I was listening to another podcast. They were just like, yeah, it just doesn't explain anything. I'm like, that sounds kind of neat. It's I'm gonna check this out. And then I'm playing it. I'm like, they were right. I don't understand a single thing. But I'm kind of digging it. You know, I want to play more. I was playing it just before we were getting on the show.
Oh, okay, nice.
Well,
Yeah,
actually, I was playing it, then I took a nap, and then we started. But
yeah, I've heard really good things about that game. So
I think that's going to be a game that I actually play through. Like a lot of those games, I start and then I just kind of fall off of them. But I think Tunic is intriguing enough that I really kind of want to see it through.
Mhm.
Because I don't. Hopefully, maybe at the end, I understand something. But it's like it's like playing like Final Fantasy X, but you don't have any of the Albed language.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
and the
just
whole
like,
game is in Albed.
yeah, and the whole game is
Yeah,
in Albed. And some words just happen to be the same in English and in Albed.
yeah, it's pretty
Like
good.
there's this random pink words, and you're like, I know that word. But yeah, I feel like there was another game I got like on Game Pass that I started but didn't really spend a ton of time with. I can't remember though. Because I booted up my Xbox for the first time in a while. Because I wanted to change the settings. They now have a new energy saver mode from
Mhm.
a recent update, and you can still install updates, but it
Oh,
uses
nice.
way less energy than the other energy saver. So it's more like the PS5 sleep mode.
Mm,
Because like the Xbox, you know how it used to always run, and it would just be like really hot because it was still
yeah.
like running, even though it wasn't on. It just wouldn't run the fans, but it would still get hot. I don't think it does that anymore. Let me see. Oh, it's cool as a cucumber, baby.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. You did it, Microsoft. You finally did it.
Science.
You stopped the Xbox from being hot all the time. um, but yeah, I'm trying to utilize my consoles more. So I'm putting on them what I can when I can. I have a bunch of games I need to get around to eventually, but
It's Destiny is the killer, man. I can't even imagine all of the other games you would have played if your love for Destiny was not as
Ross,
fervid
I
as it
I
is.
hope I hope that someday everybody can play a game and enjoy it as much as I enjoy Destiny.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I hope
Yeah,
one day you find that game because let me
yeah,
tell you, just always knowing you have something to play. Like last night, I got on Destiny and I was like, I literally turned it on. I was like, I don't know if I want to play Destiny tonight. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to run this raid with these guys. I ended up running this raid and then I played like 4 hours, like not 4 hours. Yeah, like 4 hours of PvP. And because I wanted to use the gun I crafted. And I was just
yeah,
like, okay, I just want to use this gun.
yeah. The thought of always having something there to play all the time is exhausting and stressful to me.
No,
That
but
there's
it's
always stuff I should be doing, or else like I'm missing like seasonal story stuff if I'm not keeping up with things.
But
Like
that's the thing.
that
That stuff
stresses
doesn't
me
go
out.
away right away. And like that stuff, they don't get rid of that anymore. So like next season, when the new season comes out, the season of the Risen story is still going to be there to kind of be experienced in its way. So you'll still be
Mhm.
able to interact with that. It doesn't just disappear anymore until like, you know, the new yearly expansion comes around. But like, it's just good knowing that if I don't know what to play, I can just play Destiny. And I know I can have a good time because that game just scratches the itches, you know?
Mhm.
And then when I get bored, I can play all these other games and then I can come back to Destiny whenever I'm ready. Like I've gone weeks without playing Destiny before. And
Mhm.
it's just like, and then I come back and I'm like, I'm reinvigorated. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this stuff to catch up on. This is really cool. Like this is kind of the part of the year or the part of the season where I am going to be able to play a lot more stuff because the seasonal story is wrapped up and I don't need to worry as much. So like, you know, tomorrow is probably going to be a non-Destiny day. Though every time I
Mhm.
say that, it becomes a Destiny day.
Yeah.
So wish me luck. I think that's video games.
Yep. I think that's video
That's
games.
video games. Guys, we got one more segment coming up. We're going to be back in just a second for you. Please stay tuned.
Nani
Ross and I were
senpai.
Ross and I were just reminiscing because you know we're recording this and it's 10 o'clock. So you know Ross is he's fighting. He's fighting.
Past my bedtime.
He's a real trooper. That's why we only do this once a month now.
Yes, it
But we
is.
were just talking because he's at like his fun tired phase where he's like really sleepy and like his barriers are lower. You
Don't you talk about my barriers.
know.
How dare you?
Oh, don't talk about my barriers. Hold on, I gotta type that real quick.
Hope everyone has enjoyed the show thus far. I
Yeah,
have.
and a reminder, it's video now too.
Hey, you can see us as we slowly improve our video over time as we get stuff.
That's assuming I improve. I'm gonna make you edit your own
Indeed.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you
I
edit your own
downloaded
stuff. We're gonna
DaVinci
do it.
Resolve today.
Good. I installed that too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're the one who told me about it.
I'm just making sure. Yeah, there it is. Cool. I did install it. Oh yeah, there's the desktop. Okay, cool. So final segment of our show today. It is something that we are going to kind of
Keep going. Don't break the immersion, Chris. Jesus.
Hold on,
God.
I gotta type that now. Break the immersion. I think I like that better.
Well, this is had a great start to this final segment. Very productive.
We got 2 titles already.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna call this segment Ask HalfGen, and we asked ourselves this week. But if you want to ask HalfGen, you can shoot me a tweet on Twitter at NightmareCV, or you can at RP Orlando
91.
Right? 91 RP Orlando 91.
Nope, it is Rolando 91 on Twitter.
Rolando 91. I don't.
I believe
remember.
So. Unless I changed it.
RP Orlando.
It is now RP Orlando. Rolando is old. RP Orlando 91. Chris knows my Twitter handle. I don't. I just tweet things.
Hell yeah. I know things.
He knows my graphics card that I don't remember from like 2015.
Yeah. And I know the quotes from Red versus Blue.
Yes, he does. It was almost a deal breaker in the early friendship.
Yeah. Almost burned a lot of bridges with that. So Ask HalfGen is going to be a new segment. If you guys want to ask a question, you can ask us there. You can also ask in my Discord if you're there. But basically, it's just a segment where you can ask us a question and we'll talk about it. And this question kind of came up partially as a result of Ross looking at his laptops and stuff. Portable gaming. What the hell is it? So let's talk about portable gaming. Gaming on the go is the better term, I think, for it.
GOG, I believe
because it's not just. No, that's taken. That's your.
No, that's a Liam Neeson movie.
Oh, that's also at the store for good old games. We definitely can't have it now.
Screw that up.
Yes,
Thanks for nothing, senpai. I might just sit on the floor. Keep going.
Don't do that. Don't
Hold
sit
on.
on the. Okay, he's going on the floor.
Ow!
I told you not to do it. I
Hello.
warned you.
Hi, I'm Ross, and I'm tired.
You're ridiculous.
Portable gaming.
Gaming on the go.
You can play it on a bunch of stuff.
We talked about it a little bit in the last episode we did, in February's episode, when we were talking about like the Retroid and stuff like that. But there's basically kind of four categories of gaming on the go, right? You've
Yes.
got your gaming laptops, which are kind of the high end, the hardcore. Like, I need the games I play every day. I need them at my fingertips. There is the dedicated gaming handheld, which is like your Nintendo Switch, your PlayStation Vita, stuff like that. You have your Android-based like emulation boxes, like the Retroid, or stuff like I guess Steam Deck would probably also. Steam Deck's not pure emulation, but like it's less console is probably falling into this category. Steam Deck's a weird one. It fits in a lot of categories. And then you've got your strictly mobile devices. I got my new phone today, by the way. I got my S22
congrats.
Ultra. It's burgundy. It's very nice. I like it.
I hope you named the phone Ron.
Yeah, I'm Ron Burgundy with a question mark, of course, because he'll read that. So Ross,
Yes.
you more than me,
Yes,
are on that gaming on the go train.
yes, I am.
What is your go-to arsenal? We already talked about your laptop. You can talk about your laptop a little more here if you want, but what is like your go-to? I want to game. I'm on a train. I want a game. Let's do this.
Generally, it has been the Switch. I live in the greater Boston area. I take public transportation into work for the commute, so I have time to play things. And the Switch has generally been the device of choice because the Switch might be my favorite console of all time. Just having the library it does, and yes, the Switch is the Switch underpowered? Yeah. Does my Switch kind of make a weird rattling sound every once in a while? You bet your butt it does. Do I feel like it's gonna blow up in my hand sometimes because of said rattling? Well, I'll still have 2 feet. Yes, the Switch is my preferred weapon of choice. It's just a convenient way, and especially as someone who did not have a strong enough PC to run games at a level that I wanted to run them at for a long time, I went the complete opposite direction to where I never beat The Witcher 3 or Doom 2016 until I played them on the Switch. And I had decent times with them. I had a decent time with Doom, and obviously with the Switch, all the games look better when you're playing it in portable mode, because the screen is smaller, so it's just generally sharper in more cases than not, than when you plug it into the dock. But I mean, I played The Witcher 3 and both of its expansions. I think my Switch says like 85, 90 hours into The Witcher 3 as a whole, all on Switch, almost entirely in portable mode. Because I like the ability, sure, when I'm home, I have this TV behind me that I like to play stuff on, but I also like when you're in a relationship for a long time, sometimes just you don't have to talk, just being in the same proximity or the same room as the other person is just nice. And so being able to just like play on my TV and then my wife gets home and we just kind of both chill on the couch doing our own things and I can just bring the game over from the TV to the couch is like a big thing for me. So yeah, the Switch is my weapon of choice, though my new laptop is definitely going to potentially start on some of that progress. It's a little more difficult to set up on a train than a Switch is or a Steam Deck. But yes, that is my experience.
Yeah, I think like the laptop is probably the toughest of the setups. If you're looking to like, I just want to have all my PC games on the go, and I want to be able to play them in the highest fidelity possible. Um, One, you have to be willing to spend a good chunk of money. Ross spent $1,600, on his laptop. Um, and you have to be willing to make that investment, but the people who are willing to make that investment are already usually invested in that ecosystem, and they have the games that they're like, okay, I want to be able to play this on the go. For me, like I can't play games on my commute because I'm driving. But like there have been days where I'm at work and I'm on my break and I'm like, you know what, I'm not hungry today. I'm gonna plug in the laptop and run a couple strikes on Destiny, and that's been really fun being able to pull that out and like, it's quick enough, just plug it into the wall, plug it in there. I got my mouse, boom, I'm done. I'm playing Destiny. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I do that for half an hour and then I go back to work. Um, Definitely like I would rather play my games locally on hardware than stream them. And that's
Yes.
like what you would do primarily like with your phone is
Mm-hmm.
you're going to stream Game Pass, you're going to stream Stadia. I don't think PlayStation Now has a mobile version right now.
I don't think so.
I
I could
don't
be
think
wrong.
so. But like streaming is fun. And if you're going to stream, I think Stadia is the service to go with still because I think they're generally still just the best streaming service. Um, Maybe things on Game Pass. I haven't tried the xCloud stuff since they changed to having like Series X versions be streamable.
Mm.
So maybe things are better there. But I remember streaming Destiny 2 to my phone when xCloud like released when it left beta, and it was awful.
Mm.
It was unplayable.
Yeah,
Um,
I've tried streaming with xCloud once, and it was pretty early on. It was probably like a year and a half ago. Streamed Ace Combat 7 to my phone. Actually ran perfectly, which I was surprised about.
that was the thing. I played Crackdown 3 on my phone and it ran perfectly.
I wonder if it's games that have a heavier need for online functionality as early on that might have caused issues.
That could be it. I know a lot of people had problems with like Halo 5 and stuff streaming on xCloud when that was
Well, I have a
coming
lot of
out.
problems with Halo 5, but it doesn't come down to
we
streaming.
talked. Yeah, no. Uh, but I definitely like for a lot of people that's going to be the solution because if you're already invested in Game Pass, why wouldn't you stream the
Right.
games if you can? So I think most people who are gaming on the go, your average, I want to play my games and I want to take them with me, are going to be the Switch audience. They're going to be, you got your little resistance thing there.
The Wii Fit Ring is what I called this. So yep, just getting my reps in.
The swing.
Keep going. Keep going.
Take you seriously.
No one can, brother.
So all right. That's where I was expecting this to end. Prophecy fulfilled. I think most people are going to fall into the mobile gaming and that the portable like console gaming. And I think that's kind of the area, if you're a PC gamer, the laptop is the solution. And if you're already invested, you're going to spend the money. If you're not invested in games on the whole, that's
then
where
you're Sony with the Vita. Oh, sorry. Jump the
gun. Then you're going to be in the mobile. I have a couple games. I have like I mostly do like puzzle games and stuff like that on my phone. Like I do like Flow Free, and I have like the Wordscapes and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I tend to play on my phone. I haven't played Raid Shadow Legends in a while. Thinking about playing it again though.
Yeah, I play Wordle every day now. It's fun. I enjoy it. At first, I
Wordle,
thought it was people posting the boxes, and I thought it was some hacker language. And then I played it. I was like, no, it's different. It's just boxes.
Hacker language.
It's like Tunic. Yeah. But anyway.
But yeah, anyway.
Tired Ross derails Chris.
It's destroying me. No, I'm just thinking about I have to edit this when we're done. What are you doing? You're an animal.
I forgot my Oculus Quest 2 is back there. I'm not calling it a Meta Quest 2.
No,
that's
never.
Stupid.
That's stupid. Yeah. Technically, I guess that would kind of be.
That's mobile.
Gaming.
You can bring it.
Yeah, that would be.
Also, my laptop can play VR games way better too.
Yeah.
Half-Life Alyx on that will be nice.
Yeah, you can just play that in a bigger room now.
Yeah.
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 The possibilities are endless. I'm telling you, like, if you guys have any affinity, like, I'm telling you, if you get the one thing I will say, I want to stress this. I wanted to make sure to make this point. I'm glad you were talking about this.
Good.
If you're going to invest in a gaming laptop, invest in a good gaming laptop. The budget ones are not it, because you're pretty much already obsolete. If you're getting, and again, with some of the newer ones, like a 3050 isn't the end of the world now, again, because there's DLSS and stuff like that. But if you are somebody who cares about visual fidelity and frame rate, Ross had the same thing. He was looking at a G14. It came with a 3060, or it came with like an AMD card, and he was like, do you think this is worth it? And I asked him, I was like, how long do you want to use this? And he was like, I would like to use it for at least like 2 to 3 years. And I said, get the 3070,
Yeah.
because there's enough of a jump there that you're going to get. It's going to be, in the grand scheme of things, if it's 10 to 20%, on paper right now, that's not maybe the biggest deal. But a year from now, 2 years from now, that's the difference between running at 50 or 60.
Yeah. And I'm not very knowledgeable about computer stuff. And I thought that having an AMD processor and an AMD GPU would make things work better or more efficient.
There are benefits for that. It's just that particular GPU, I wouldn't take over. Why do you have a hammer?
Don't worry about it. Don't ask
Why
questions
did you
you
turn
don't want
around?
answers to.
You knew you were going for the hammer. Why did you go for the hammer?
Because it's hammer time. It's just me holding it as hammer time.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. No, I'm just flabbergasted.
I hung a picture with it. It's nice. I'll show you.
Okay, yes, please.
It's up there. It's the 10-year anniversary on a very nice print of Supergiant games with all of the protagonists.
That's very nice. I like that.
Thank you. I do too.
How much did that run you?
I think it's on like special art paper, and it was signed by Gen Z, the art director. I think it was like $85.
That's not bad.
It was worth it.
Did it come with the frame?
No,
or
I
like
got the frame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's like
It's on like a nice like art canvas kind of thing.
Yeah, 18 by 24. It's a decent size.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah,
you take those.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is if you want me at my best, you have to accept me at my worst, and right. That's post 10 p.m. Ross.
You're right. It's hammer time. This was what the part of the show I think we were originally both looking like the most forward to.
Yes.
And we realized there was so much other stuff we had to talk about because we took an extra like 3 or 4 weeks.
Real bummer. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if anyone in the Northeast area is in need of curtains, I don't need these because I got different curtains. But it's been too long, so I can't return them.
Why are you talking about curtains?
They were just over there. I was thinking about stuff I pick up in my office. Let's see. What else is here? It's a little Hollow Knight from the Collector's Edition. He's adorable.
Did you say Collector's Edition?
Collector's Edition.
Oh.
I got this smartwatch. It dies fast.
Which one is it?
Fossil Carlisle something. My in-laws got it for me.
Watch lasts a long time.
Yeah,
mine doesn't. Get a Galaxy Watch.
Yeah.
I have. Should. If we're showing stuff on I have this. It's a trainer butterfly knife.
Whoa.
It's not. It's dull.
Yeah.
Somebody TJ bought it for me. It was one of the best gifts he ever got me. I used to be okay at it.
Yeah.
I could get the twirl down pretty good, but I'm not there right now. See, I would have just cut myself.
I want to trigger Chris, so I'm gonna grab this.
God.
Oh God!
Why are we triggering me?
This is a trophy I got from work in 2019.
Oh yeah, your Mario Kart championship.
Mario Kart. They ordered it with kart spelled with a C, like a moron. So I used a Sharpie and wrote a K.
Now
and the little guy falls out, just like me falling off the rails at the end of this podcast.
Accurate.
Here's my old dog. She was adorable.
Aww.
What else? Ooh. It's this portable heater because there's not great insulation in this front room and it gets chilly.
Heating on the go.
Heating on the go.
Just like gaming.
I can just carry it with
like
me.
a boombox.
Take it on the train. Plug it in.
Hook it up to like a battery pack.
Oh, dude.
Instead of music, somebody's next to you. Yo, can you turn that down? Yo, I'm cold.
Yo, in Typing of the Dead or for Dreamcast, the battery pack is a Dreamcast they have on their back and they have a keyboard in front, and that's how they kill the zombies. It's great. I've never played it. What else?
Oh, man.
I'm a problem, and I know it, and I apologize to everyone, including my co-host.
Don't apologize. This is great.
What else do I have? Oh.
If we're gonna go off the rails, we might as well go all the way off the rails.
This is my Switch Witcher 3 controller.
The Switcher 3 controller.
The Switcher 3 controller. I have a little... I don't know. I don't think the cord is so short.
You can tell I haven't played my Switch like locally in a while because my controller is very dusty.
Let's see. This cord is not long.
Oh wow, it's dusty. Holy shit.
So you can't see it. The end table with the light, that's my portable console. Hey, portable. We're back on it, folks. My portable console display. So I have the PSP and the Vita plugged in to keep charge along with my new Nintendo 3DS XL and my Wii U gamepad, along with some spare controllers. That end table has wireless charging that barely works, and I don't recommend it. That was refreshing.
Yeah.
Is there anything in here? My passport. I don't want to show that.
On my desk.
Mine doesn't come with a drawer. I got a drawer and installed it.
I bought this.
Hey.
It's the Halo Infinite Master Chief and the Halo Combat Evolved Master Chief. It's for like the 20th anniversary. The Spartan collection. So it's got the OG and the new school.
Oh, nice.
Got a better like picture of them back here.
That's cool.
My hue lights back there.
Indeed.
There's a bunch of other ones you can get too, but I got the Master Chief combo. Comes with they actually have both assault rifles in here.
Oh wow.
They have the Halo 1 assault rifle and the Halo Infinite assault rifle. And they have the Halo 1 pistol. So this is the most dangerous Master Chief on the planet. I've never seen inside of there, I don't think.
Welcome to my game storage.
It looks like you just have like a head statue kind of just chilling there.
Where?
Like one of the box arts right there. It looks like it's just a head.
Here?
No. Above the Last Guardian.
Above the last... Oh, that's the steelbook case for Last of Us Part 2. It's Abby.
Yeah. But it just like from that distance, it looks like there's just like a statue of a head.
I mean, I would love a statue of a head of Abby. Let's see. Portable games. This is my Vita and PSP drawer down here where I keep all of my games. It's not a ton because Sony hates fun.
You're right. I think my Vita's over here somewhere. It is! Oh god, it's dusty.
It's the least surprising news today.
I was going to try and trade it in one day, but they wouldn't take it because the serial number sticker came off. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to keep it. Fuck you.
You were going to try to trade it in?
Why? I had the PlayStation TV.
Traitor.
I didn't need it.
I got this capture card that Chris gave me for free because we were going to do stuff in the first round of the site that didn't end up happening as much.
But we're going to do it now.
Maybe. But we're going to do it now. Probably,
yeah,
hopefully.
I got my Vita. This is the LCD model.
Yeah.
I wonder if it turns on. Probably not.
No, probably not. Or it'll flash the battery at you.
Nah.
No.
Man, this is still, though, like an incredible feeling piece. Mm-hmm. It definitely feels smaller now.
Yeah.
Like, but it's still like...
Yeah,
God,
I mean,
this
like...
thing is so usable.
Like, hold your phone up to it. It's crazy, the screen size. Yeah.
This Vita is barely bigger than my phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to charge this. I'm gonna try. I gotta find a fucking micro USB now. God damn it.
Not like me with the first gen model of the Vita with the proprietary charger.
Yo, this LCD one is actually not bad. I kind of
Yeah.
want to see if I can get my hands on an OLED model again, but there's nothing wrong with this one
Yeah.
at all.
Oh.
It's so light, dude, compared to the other one.
I like a
So
little bit of
light.
heft. I like a little thick boy. That might be a title. I don't know.
But yeah, so since we got the Vita in hand,
yeah,
let's talk about old stuff.
sure.
Vita, let's see. How much is a Vita if we were to buy it right now? Let's look.
There we go. Real-time price checking.
Okay, you check eBay. I'll check Amazon.
Okay.
All right, please.
You only need to go to one website to check both, and it's pricecharting.com. If you're shopping for retro games, that is...
Pricecharting. Okay.
Are
we sponsored? Fuck them.
PlayStation Vita, video games. I would like to find just the system.
Wow, the Vita is not cheap.
Yeah. PlayStation Vita. The 3G/Wi-Fi edition is looking like used about 145.
That's not bad. On Amazon, they're going for around 230.
The PlayStation TV is more expensive at 156.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going between like 220 and 250.
What's the most expensive Vita related thing? Can I sort by price? I cannot. This is riveting. For some reason, Binding of Isaac Rebirth on PlayStation Vita is like, what? This doesn't make any sense. It says 5 sales per year. Loose, current. Huh. Anyway. Not the best audio content, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's not cheap to get into a Vita right now.
No.
That is a shame, because the Vita is very nice. Yeah, it's not cheap. You can buy a console that was supported. Wow, PSPs are up there too. This one.
All the prices have
hold on,
up since
hold
COVID.
on. I was looking at those were new ones. So it looks like a Vita. Yeah, you can get a used good around like 150. That's not terrible.
Keep in mind the launch price was $250. So yeah,
that's not awful. 150 for the Aqua Blue.
Yeah, for a incredibly poorly supported console. Yeah,
but it still has some really incredible games on it.
It does.
Yeah, so the older stuff is a little tougher to get into, like the Vita and stuff like that. The Switch is obviously, the Switch, it is what it is. The OLED model is very nice. The screen on it is incredible. I have to show you mine when did I show you ever?
You did. Yeah.
I did. Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah. But the screen on it is just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. The Switch is probably what I would recommend if you're like, hey, I want to play console games on the go. Like the Switch is just the easy answer. The 3DS and the Vita, yeah, you can get them used for like less than what they were, but at the same time, it's like the 3DS's library, I feel, is very niche in a lot of cases because it's a lot of like obscure RPGs and stuff like that just kind of hit it. And there's a lot of good first party stuff, but unless you're a big like Etrian Odyssey fan or something like that, or
I would go with the DS over the 3DS. That library is incredible.
And if you get a early like a DS or a DS Lite, you can also play GBA games on it.
That's true.
Yeah. There are also like the Steam Deck is kind of the big thing. We will be getting a Steam Deck soon. My pre-order should be coming up soon. Nice. They said next week they're going to start sending out Q2 pre-orders.
Nice. I will say quickly back to the DS. There was some innovative stuff they did with that. For example, a game called Hotel Dusk 215. It was a noir detective game, but you held it sideways like it was a book, and each screen was like a specific thing, and you played it that way. So DS at first seemed super gimmicky, And granted, I think most of the games didn't make a great use of both screens, but there were definitely a few that were pretty innovative.
I still have the OG silver DS.
Oh,
I
the
bought
fat
it
boy,
from my friend
thick
in
boy.
high school, freshman year.
Mm,
His dad got it for him for Christmas. He didn't want it. He sold it to me for $50.
yeah,
I jumped on that. There was nothing to play on it for a while
yeah.
except the Metroid Prime Hunters demo. Um, but then Advance Wars Dual Strike came out, and I was very happy. I was a happy
Yeah.
lad. No, there was the only DS Fire Emblem was Awaken. Was the Shadow Dragon one, the
Mm,
remake, which I didn't like.
yeah.
And then I played, a bunch of GBA games on it and stuff. But I still have that after all these years. I can't tell you the last time I turned it on, like other than like a year or two ago. It still turns on.
Wow, that's
It's
crazy.
still charged.
If you have
If
the public
I think I know where it is. If I got it right now, it would still turn on.
service announcement, if you have a PSP, check on it because those batteries explode.
That was it right there. His just exploded.
Yeah, mine just exploded. But for real, I hadn't played my PSP for like 5 or 6 years, and I took it out of storage, and the battery compartment was bulging, and the battery was just
Mine's
like
probably done that. I
it
don't know where my
it,
PSP
it
is right
hadn't
now.
burst open. It was just like very like bloated. So you can buy a cheap replacement on Amazon for like 10 or 15 bucks, and
Yeah.
that one has not exploded yet. So
Yeah. But yeah, like a lot of that old like GBA stuff like that. There's a lot of mods you can do with like original Game Boy Advance because
mhm,
that's more ergonomic.
yeah,
SPs you can get for still like pretty decent prices.
I love the
Um,
SP.
I
The
love the
backlit screen
SP.
was a game changer. Oh my god.
And you can mod the original GBAs
Yeah.
to have that, which is
Yep.
really cool. There's also more like boutique options. I actually canceled my pre-order for it because I was like, with the Steam Deck coming out and stuff like that, it's probably better money spent. But I did pre-order the Analog Pocket.
Hmm.
And I was it's supposed to be exceptional at like
Yeah.
emulating those games, and the way they have like a proprietary method for how they make like original Game Boy games look like Game Boy games. Um, but I just couldn't justify $200 for it. But like, if that's the life you want to live, you can get a $200 thing that plays those games. It's FPGA based, so it plays those games the way they were meant to be played. And it visually is stunning. It's got the correct aspect ratio for the Game Boy and everything. So like, you could just plug your carts in. That's the big thing, is you could plug your cartridges into it and just play.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you
It's
get into the realm of, unfortunately, a lot of those games are more and more expensive nowadays. So that's another
not only that,
hurdle.
their batteries are dead.
Yeah. You just got to replace the batteries, which isn't too hard from what
Yeah.
I've read. And stuff like the Retroid Pocket,
I'm still waiting for mine.
because you can't cancel it. Yeah.
No, I try. So I had an email conversation with them, and I originally said I wanted to cancel it, but then like 20 minutes later, I emailed them again, and I was like, actually, I'm just gonna wait. And they were like, thank you so much. I was like, just let me know if it's getting delayed again, because it was supposed to be delivered. They said like it ships in like 30 days, and then it didn't, and it's been like 2 months. I ordered it February 9th. I ordered it the day we recorded the last episode.
Yep.
It's been almost 2 months, has not shipped. And they
Yeah.
said it's going to ship next month. Next month, it goddamn better. It's already paid for. I did the pay in full. It's already done. It's paid in full.
That's a title.
But like, I want it. I like. There's a sick part of me that I'm like, I know I'm getting the Steam Deck, and I was like, why do I need this thing? But there's a part of me that I'm just like, I don't want to deal with. I just kind of don't want to deal with it on the Steam Deck. Like, I don't want to have to root around in there and like do that. I just want the Steam Deck to play like Steam games.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck around with it. I don't want to like get into the Linux side. I just want to like, and I'm sure it's easy. I know you can download like RetroArch via Steam now, so it's not even a big deal. I
That
just don't want to
version
deal with
is
it.
another public service announcement. The RetroArch that's available through Steam is not very good. It is outdated and does not have a lot of the new emulator cores that the current web version has. Just FYI for people.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, maybe I'll do that at some point, but like, I want the hammers back.
Continue.
um, But yeah, that's the big thing where the Steam Deck is coming in now. It's like I honestly I want the Retroid because I want to play like NBA or NFL 2K5. I want to play like PS1 game. I want to play Twisted Metal Head On, and I just want to pull out a thing and play
Yeah,
Twisted Metal.
it will run
And I
that.
want to play 2K5, and
It might run the iffy. Once you get to PS2 on Retroid, that's kind of iffy.
We'll see.
It really like goes through like PS1 like butter, and then it's very spotty with 6th
I mean,
gen.
the Steam Deck is apparently playing like PS3 games. So,
oh yeah, that was expected.
So like,
yeah, which I'm excited about.
So like, I might still dabble with that, but I like the idea of having like the Retroid and just being like, whatever, I can just play these little cheap games kind of on the go.
And again, there's something to be said for having a system be pocketable, which is nice. And I still play a ton of the GBA Yu-Gi-Oh games on this. I play that stuff all the time. I play a lot of GBA on this actually. So
yeah, I might still invest in an analog pocket when it becomes like more readily available, just because like it looks like it's just so nice, like premium. Yeah. But yeah, like so the Steam Deck is kind of like the jack of all trades from what from how everything sounds so far. It's a great emulation machine. It runs games shockingly well. It kind of does everything. It's like if you were going to decide, we never finished this thought, but like if you want like the high fidelity PC game, you got to invest money in a good gaming laptop. But if you're going to invest in a cheap gaming laptop, I would say you're better off spending the money on a Steam Deck.
Which is what I was going to do up until my obsession and bad choices arose this past weekend.
Yeah, no, good choices. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, okay.
You're good.
I just don't have money.
You did good.
I don't have money anymore. No, I didn't have there's no money anymore. Hold on, I found something else. I found a tape measure. I was measuring for the recliner. Oh no, it fell. Okay, there we go. These segments will become more structured.
Crunchy. These episodes won't be as long when we're recording them when we're supposed to.
Supposed to.
We have a plan now.
We have a plan, and we would love you to get involved by giving us topics to talk about for Ask HalfGen.
Yeah. Man, I was so ready for this segment. I came in like with such a plan, and then the hammer. You just took a hammer to it.
No, if you still have a plan, go for it, dude.
No, I'm not saying like, oh, you ruined it. It was just like I was coming into this and I was like, man, we're gonna have like this real like we're gonna have this real thoughtful conversation, and then we just went off the rails, and I'm all for it. I think that's some of the best stuff we do. Oh. But yeah, Steam Deck's gonna be really cool. I can't wait to have one. Hopefully, maybe the next time we're recording, maybe there's a Steam Deck. But yeah,
who knows, Valve? Don't be like Retroid. Get it here.
Wish I had a screenshot of that.
Get it here.
Give it to Russell. It's like at your wedding when like somebody found that axe and just gave it to you, and like you were just taking pictures with the axe.
So A, no one found the axe. B, it was in the trunk of the photographer's car. And C, he said, "Do you want to take some pictures holding these hatchets?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it'll make my wife real mad." So that's what I did. And I have pictures of me posing like Connor from Assassin's Creed 3, and it's great.
And then he knighted us with the axe.
I did. I kept the guards on because I didn't trust myself.
Yeah, no, someone was going to lose a limb.
Yeah, and it was going to be Tony.
Yeah, it was always going to be Tony.
It's always Tony. Always be smiling.
Remember the ABCs, always be smiling. Oh my god. He's so stupid.
This has been a segment about portable gaming.
We'll talk more about portable gaming when we have.
We will. These Ask HalfGen segments. It's not like this is the only time we will talk about these topics. They will pervade every episode that we do in various forms and amounts. It's just
it was just perfect timing with like. Last time we recorded, I ordered a Retroid. Ross has a Retroid. Ross just got the gaming laptop. The key takeaways, in all seriousness, if gaming, if you want the best, your gaming laptop, but be willing to spend the money, do the research, do the reviews. the G15, the Zephyrus G15 is excellent. If you want to save a little bit of money, you can do like a G14 with a 3060. Just understand that, that machine is a little better for a 3060 because you're doing 1080p and stuff like that. But like, if you're going to do a gaming laptop, you have to invest the money. If you're getting cheap components, you're not just getting a worse experience now, you're hurting the longevity of the device. So you're buying a gaming laptop. If you're buying a low-end gaming laptop today, you're going to have an unusable gaming laptop next year because the technology is only going to get better. The games are going to look better. And you're just you're spending more money for what a Steam Deck can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at that point, it's bad business. Like you're not going to be playing Destiny at any reasonable frame rate on a cheap low-end gaming laptop.
Mm-hmm.
The Switch is the best option just all around. If you just need to game right now, the Switch is the best option. If you want to go older, you can buy on Amazon and stuff. They're reasonably priced for like 3DSs and Vitas and stuff like that. The options like, the boutique options like I see you, I noticed, don't worry.
Oh, no, keep going. You're having a great spiel. Keep going.
The boutique options like the Analog Pocket, and then there's like the FPGA stuff, all that. Those are definitely options. But Retroid is an affordable option to play a lot of old school games. And then, don't forget about mobile and,
Or Dre, actually.
Yeah, no, never, nobody forgets about Dre or else. Honestly, the only advantage of a cheap gaming laptop is if you're going to stream the cloud, is because you will have better hardware for game streaming.
Yeah.
That is the only benefit. And that's like what you get with like Ultrabooks and stuff like that. So like you can game if you need like just a laptop for work or something, the cloud comes in, and then mobile is where the cloud really comes in. Get yourself like a nice little like controller adapter kind of thing for it and go to town.
I have to say, I do hate streaming to my phone because I do need it for other things and it sucks battery. That's why I've always disliked mobile gaming, along with a variety of other reasons, but that's been kind of the main one, is because I need my phone for other things. And if I'm gaming on it, it's not going to last throughout the day.
Yeah.
And it's a problem.
It's give and take, but you can also get like a cheap tablet or something like that. Like I actually, a big reason I got like my iPad, the reason I picked my iPad, because I was looking for like a tablet. I could have gotten a cheaper tablet. I could have gotten like a Samsung tablet, just because like I wanted something that like was bigger. I could watch YouTube videos on it, work, and not drain my battery. I ended up going with the iPad Pro because, one, the battery life was exceptional. Two, the screen was exceptional. Three, the way that thing is built and works is exceptional. It's the best tablet on the market. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The iPad Pro is amazing. It's also over $1,000, but it also has Apple Arcade. And
Raid
there are
Shadow Legends.
some really good games on Apple Arcade. I have been addicted to this solitaire game on Apple Arcade. I play it every day at work. I end my lunch playing solitaire every day. Because I'll watch like YouTube or I'll watch an anime on Crunchyroll, and then I'll boot it up. I'll put on YouTube music. I'll listen to 2 tracks, and I'll just play solitaire till I win.
And now Mini Motorways.
I don't want to talk about it.
Parking valet.
No Brakes valet. I don't think that's. Do I still have that on my phone? Hold on. I think I might have that.
No Brakes valet. The Ouya's killer app. For those who remember it.
No Brakes valet.
It's there.
I still have it on my phone. It transferred.
the important thing's transferred.
Oh god. This is terrible.
Touchscreen controls are the worst.
I kind of did it. No. Okay. Oh no. Hold on. Oh. Nope. Oh, no. Oh god. This plays really well on the audio. Hold on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I parked it.
Hey.
No. Okay. I didn't like it.
Oh.
Whatever. No Brakes Valet is a really good game.
Yeah. Is there an issue?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, we'll talk more about this again when the Steam Deck comes out. We'll have more stuff for that. But yeah, Ross, do you have any final thoughts you want to add on that?
I don't think so.
So
I
one
think.
Ask HalfGen at least is going to be asking us not to like go off topic.
Yep.
That's
And
going to
then,
be the
but that's going
hardest
to be the
one.
only thing. So it's like, what topic are we supposed to talk about? Joke's on you. You didn't provide one. Well, now we have to talk about something. Um, yeah, no, I like portable gaming. I think I mentioned in the first episode my like year-end review for Switch that it provided me. I'd spent like 240 hours or something playing Switch, and it was pretty split down the middle in terms of portable and dock play. It's something I find myself liking more and more the older I get, in terms of just being able to not be locked down to a TV or a desk and being able to take those experiences elsewhere. It's something that allows me to continue gaming to where I wouldn't have been able to do it as much previously. Um, so yeah, portable gaming, super neat. Don't take any of the jokes in this segment to take away from the seriousness of what we're talking about and how it can change your life and affect you in multiple ways. Senpai. And now Chris is sniffing because he's laughing, but it sounds like he's sniffing. Which on Sundays he sniffs and sneezes a lot because that's allergy day.
Actually, my allergies haven't bothered me in a couple of years now.
Well, not until you come here. Just wait.
We'll see. Hopefully not.
The pollen's bad in Boston.
Our next episode,
Yes.
I believe, will be post PAX. I think
yes.
because we can record right there because I have the things.
Right.
We can just upload it.
Yeah.
That one might not have video. That might be an audio exclusive. Maybe we'll do a PAX episode and then we'll do a regular episode the following week.
We'll do a PAX episode with everyone.
Yeah,
I think
we'll have a rotating chair.
There's gonna be a
Ross and I will
here.
share a lapel mic. He's just gonna be like all up in my chest.
Like that doesn't happen all the time anyway. Why lie to the viewers? Please.
Just gonna be here and it's just gonna be me. So tell us about your experience at PAX.
Nani.
Oh, guys, if you ever want to do a podcast, get your best friend and then do it.
Yep, it's pretty good, and especially
best friend.
If your best friend is really an 80-year-old in the body of a 30-year-old,
but he knows how to make you laugh with the dumbest shit. It's just how he says stuff. It just makes you laugh.
Especially when your wife just texts you, "Will you be done in the next 3 hours?"
Tell her no. See what she says. Tell her this episode's going long.
Chris said no.
No, don't blame me.
Blame him.
No, I didn't.
There we go.
Oh, Russ, we talked about.
Chris said no, blame me.
You said blame him.
Well, yeah, because I'm not Chris.
No, but you said blame me.
Jeez, Chris, come on, get on your head in the game. Be focused. Why am I the only focused one here?
Do you want to talk about the games that are releasing next month?
There's stuff coming out? What are games?
Oh, man. I'm about to blow your mind.
Upcoming games, April.
This was always Ross's favorite part of the old show, so let's talk about what's coming out in April.
Sure, let me get a real website and not radiotimes.com.
While Ross is pulling this up, again, the HalfGen YouTube, we're going to be putting these up. We have early ideas. We're going to try the whole YouTube thing again. And I'm just going to give you a little hint of something I want to do that I think will be fun. So I bought a shiny new headset for my laptop. That's supposed to be really nice. It looks very nice. It should be comfortable and it fit in my bag well. But I also bought this because Dollar General on DoorDash had a 40% off coupon. So I bought a lot of stuff from Dollar General, and they had a $12 gaming headset.
Oh.
And so I bought it.
I'd be more convinced if Viper was without the E.
That would have been more gamer.
It would have.
This item is, what does that say? Electronically protected?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's what it says. It's electronically protected. But I want to do a video of this because how bad do you think a $12 headset could be?
It's going to be better than the Steel Series.
That would horrify me.
Yeah, it would horrify me too.
That would be depressing.
You know what won't horrify you though?
The
Games coming out in April.
Well, April.
Indeed. So, a game that I'm kind of shocked at how excited I am. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
I know a lot of people really hyped for that one.
Yeah. I don't know why I am, but I am. So I might get it. That comes out April 5th, along with MLB The Show 2022. And by 2022, it's just 22. We have, this is the big one for the month. Chinatown Detective Agency. Anyway, Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition. Nope. Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition, April 7th. Godfall Ultimate Edition, April 7th.
And that's for Xbox.
Yeah, that is for, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
The Godfall has come full circle and is now on all the platforms.
Indeed.
All of the gens.
House of the Dead Remake coming to Switch, also on the 7th. A lot of stuff on the 7th, wow. A game I've been meaning to play for a long time that is installed on my PS5, which is a PS4 game, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, coming to Switch.
That's coming to Switch?
April 12th.
I got it for like $25 on PS4.
Yeah, me too. I got it super cheap from like a Best Buy sale.
So I think I'm just going to end up playing it there. Too. Yeah.
On April 20th, the port of The Force Unleashed Star Wars is coming to Switch. If you want that.
So everybody's going to get high and play the Wii version of,
This is the best version. The Wii
Do you know
version.
on April 19th, Snoop Dogg is coming to Call of Duty Vanguard?
That's the least surprising thing.
No, but April 19th. Instead of April 20th. It has to be on purpose. No, but like they could have just pushed it one day.
They could have, but they didn't. If you want a really bad looking port of a game on Switch, Zombie Army 4 Dead War is coming on April 26th. And then Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, April 27th.
We're finally going to do it. Expect a stream for that one. Twitch.tv/NightmaresCV.
Dwarf Romantic, which has been on PC, I think, in early access. It's just a chill kind of town building game where you just like build towns in hexes. I really like it. I guess I have the early access version. But it's nice. And then lastly, closing out the month on April 29th, Nintendo Switch Sports.
Oh shit.
Decently sized month, to be honest.
Yeah,
There's some good stuff.
Crazy, but it's not bad.
It's not crazy. It gives me more time to play more Cyberpunk, which is really all I care about.
Yeah.
That and not play Valhalla. So, And then May, there's not a lot in May, actually. May's dead.
Well, we'll see what happens. They might announce stuff for May.
Oh, God, May is dead.
They killed May. Oh, dude, if May is dying, then, with great power comes great responsibility.
All we know is falling. That's been the podcast.
That's been the HalfGen podcast.
Welcome. And by welcome, you're welcome for this quality content.
I think you're welcome might be the title.
I hope you appreciate the work that we put in and the planning, the outlines, all of the hard work.
We really do have outlines and stuff.
So the urban legend goes.
We have Google Docs.
What is that? I just have a typewriter in the basement. I don't know what a Google Doc is.
We had a show idea that we were going to do, and I remember typing notes for it, and Ross remembers me reading notes back.
Yep.
And it's gone.
It's gone. We have to rebuild the whole thing from scratch. It's never going to be the same.
It's going to be the same.
It'll probably be the same.
It's definitely going to be the same. We have lots of video ideas. I think Ross might have one of the first original videos. Are you going to be that JRPG tier list going to be a thing?
Yeah, so I recorded back last March before the hiatus for the site. I recorded myself in like an hour and a half long video ranking all of the JRPGs I've ever beaten on a tier list. Never did anything with it, but now I am. I downloaded the DaVinci Code in order to edit the video.
Here, let me send you which one of these?
I don't think there's a lot of editing to do, but it will show up soon. I'll try to work on that this weekend, actually. So look for it in April. What are you doing, Chris?
I'm sending you this so you can put it at the front of your video.
Oh,
It's
intro
the little
things.
splash thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Did you see that other image I sent you earlier when you were talking about the Pope?
Absolutely not.
You should look at it. Because that's Elden Ring.
I'm a professional. I focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, okay. But you should look at it. It's an Elden Ring. It's the Turtle Pope. There is a Turtle Pope.
Did you send it on Discord?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was looking at my phone.
No.
I don't look at Discord ever. So, oh,
there's a Turtle Pope.
What's much better about that even is that it looks like the Turtle Pope is in the same message as Biodegradable Grappling Hook.
Yes.
So it looks like they go together, which makes it even better.
Yes, agreed.
Perfect.
Thank you for listening. Transaction.
Yep. This has been episode 2 of season 3 of the HalfGen podcast.
It only gets weirder from here.
It only gets weirder from here. If you want a full gen, you're in the wrong place. Come back next month to hear us talk about things in a semi-structured manner.
As long as it doesn't go past 10.
If it goes past 10,
all structure is gone. Thanks for watching. Bye. And listening. Bye.
Goodbye.